Okay, let's get started.
Just raise your glasses high. This one's sweet.
Turtle time.
Two little baby turtles sleeping in pajamas and caps.
Are just awaking from their dream-filled naps.
What a week it has been, and they are ready to talk.
So now it begins with the start of the clock.
For this is Turtle Time. My name is Riley Hamilton.
And I'm Amy Scarlatta. I'm being held hostage.
Hey everyone, that is the new intro. It's locked in stone, right?
Yeah, 100%.
How'd you feel about it?
It was cute.
Did it make you feel a part of the poem to be reciting those words?
Yeah. It gave me I liked the sleeping cap visual.
Right. Like you and me just waking up from... So you said, I had been kind of like... There had been a little bit of a horror tinge to a lot of the ones I said. So
This one was definitely more gentle.
Right. Like we were sleeping in a little den. I mean, separately, but we had blankets up to our turtlenecks. We had pajamas on and sleeping caps.
Like Grandpa Bucket.
Exactly like Grandpa Bucket, except did Grandpa Bucket wear one of those little
In my mind he did, but I could be wrong.
The quintessential sleeping cap for me is Ebenezer Scrooge.
Totally.
When he puts on his nice pajama outfit.
Yeah.
And then he totally has a cap.
Do you think he had like leather slippers?
Right next to his bed?
Yeah.
For sure. Oh, this just brought to mind Sound of Music. Because remember in Sound of Music when it's 11 p.m. or maybe 12 a.m. and all of the kids are scared because the thunder is happening and they all run into Maria's bed and she sings My Favorite Things. When Captain Van Trapp comes, he's wearing a sleeping pajama or a sleeping suit.
The full Hugh Hefner.
Yeah. It's like, isn't it like a suit?
Yeah.
But a sleep suit.
It's like a smoking jacket.
Yeah, that was awesome. It looked really comfortable.
He's a playa.
Yeah, he's so cool in that movie. Do you think...
But all the boys were in sleeping gowns as well.
Right. So anyway, just sorry to talk about Sound of Music, but that's what I imagine us as little turtles. We wake up, what a week it has been, and we're ready to talk.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense, I guess, right?
Yeah. I think we should bring back the little candle holders for when you have to take a turtle piss break in the middle of the night.
That's what I was thinking. Exactly that. I want the whole ensemble for sleep.
Yeah.
Ebenezer Scrooge, when he wakes up because he got visited by the ghost of Christmas past, he wakes up. He hears those rattling chains.
Yeah.
Ebenezer. So scary.
Chains are scary.
Chains are so scary. Imagine the reason why he has those chains is because you are burdened by the horrors you perpetuate in your life.
Yeah.
Ebenezer. And then he comes out and I guess no electricity is the reason why they had those.
Yeah.
But still, I would do that.
I'm down.
We should do a recording just one time on Thursday night, really late. If you
We'll
want
watch
to.
Southern Charm at
We'll
its airtime.
That would be awesome. And then it's going to be winter, so at 6 p.m. it'll be dark early. We can turn off the lights in your place, watch Southern Charm. Then
We'll just hold a candle right under our chins for YouTube.
that would be so fun. And then it kind of has a little bit of a spooky vibe too.
That's fun.
Okay, cool. Well, let me know whenever you want to do that. Maybe when the night comes earlier.
Yeah. I heard that I was talking about daylight savings and our friend told me that it's happening at BravoCon.
November.
Like that's when it happens that weekend.
Oh, it's going to be chaos.
So we'll get an extra hour, I think. Is that how it works this time?
Oh, let me see. Spring forward, fall back. So the time goes backwards. So yes, we get a full extra hour
Of BravoCon. It makes it worth it.
Yeah, that's $666 divided by 48 hours is actually 49.
That's right.
That's amazing. But also, Vegas is the worst place to have a huge shift in daylight happen because you don't see the daylight.
That's right. Yeah. The ceilings are painted like blue skies and clouds.
It's going to be kind of scary to be at BravoCon when the night comes early. Don't you think?
We should drive out into the desert to where Tony Soprano went.
Oh, when he did ayahuasca or peyote?
Yeah.
And he said, I get it?
Yeah.
What'd you think he got?
Everything. All of it.
I think he got, so for those of you who don't know, in Sopranos, season 6, Tony has a complete epiphany. Spoilers alert for the next 30 seconds if you haven't watched Sopranos. But it's after he you have to stop listening. This is a huge spoiler. After he kills Christopher Moltisanti,
Okay.
he takes peyote and he gets away and he has his epiphany. And I think the epiphany is that Chris Moltisanti was like his Jacob Marley in chains that was bringing him bad luck and wrecking his life metaphorically because of what Christopher's energy brought down. He was always a weak link in Tony's mind, and killing him set him free. So it's actually this horrible epiphany.
Oh, wow.
Because right before that, Tony starts winning at gambling. He starts to have the best luck in Vegas of all time. So I think that he realized that killing Christopher was the link to his good fortune.
Well, he was driving high with that baby seat in the back. He had to go.
Yeah, I mean, Tony justified it a million times. A lot of people justify it, and a lot of people say Christopher would have possibly ratted Tony out eventually if he got busted for heroin or something. And
Yeah.
so it was justifiable. I'm glad Tony killed him.
I love that actor, though.
Who?
What's his name?
Michael Imperioli?
Yes.
Yeah, I love him as well.
I'm glad he got his flowers recently.
Oh, yeah, it's good. I mean, he got his flowers for a new generation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He seems like a really cool guy.
I think he's really cool. Did you ever see his Architectural Digest home?
Oh, yeah. It's crazy looking. Isn't his wife like a set decorator?
Yeah.
Designer?
It looks like he lives in like Rome, like the Pope.
It was very White Lotus.
Yeah. I would never think that was his vibe because he's like a CBGB
I know.
punk.
I would have thought like Loft or something.
Me too. I was kind of jarred
Yeah.
by his interior decorating design. Did you know that just 2 days ago it was James Gandolfini's birthday?
R.I.P.
It's been what, 10 years, I think?
Yeah.
So sad.
I just got a Facebook reminder that I posted about Enough Said. I think it was.
Oh, I love Enough
Was
Said.
it 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Because it came out after he died, but like just after.
Yeah, that and like The Drop and like one other movie all came out posthumously.
And my Facebook review was like, what a delight.
Enough Said is so good. I love it. And both Steve Sciarippa and Michael Imperioli on the Talking Sopranos podcast said that character in Enough Said is the most like James Gandolfini in real life.
Yeah.
Did I already tell you that?
Maybe,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
but maybe not. Maybe we talked about it on the side, or also I listened to a lot of Julia Louis-Dreyfus interviews recently because she was like doing press, and she said the same thing.
It's so nice. I mean, because he got a lot of roles where he's like, you know, a villain or a tough guy or whatever, you know, but I love that there's one role that encapsulates him as an actual person. I bet that movie Life of Riley was also like him. You remember? Did you ever see that? Where Kristen Stewart, she's like, I think she's a prostitute or something. And instead of making love to her, he brings her home and like feeds her and makes her.
That sounds cute.
Yeah, it's very sweet. Speaking of Nicole Holofcener, is
Love
that her
her.
name? I just watched You Hurt My Feelings
Yeah.
and Friends with Money.
Wow. Friends with Money's better.
I like You Hurt My Feelings more.
You loved it?
I loved it.
Huh.
I think she's getting better. Friends with Money felt the most tonally.
I like rich white girl shit though.
Me too. I love that too. But
And it had the L.A.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I loved it. I
Los
loved it.
Feliz. Did you notice?
Yes.
They
'cause
go
went
to
Los
Fred
Feliz
62.
3. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Or I'm sorry. Yeah. They're right outside Fred 62. I
Jennifer
loved seeing
Aniston was right down the street.
that. I liked that. I thought that was very sweet. I liked that that one guy
What
is
about
horrible.
The Kids Are All Right?
haven't seen that. Is that her?
Whew. You got to get on that.
Wait, that's one of hers?
Isn't it?
Oh,
Or
I
is
don't
that
know.
Cholodenko?
Oh, I'm not sure. But
Now I have to look. But
oh, I'm
keep
so
talking.
sorry. Well, I just want to say I loved You
I'm
Hurt
pretty
My
sure it's her.
I love You Hurt My Feelings because I love that it's just about a small thing that really represents a lot that's not talked about. Tonally, it was just fun the entire time. And then I like how it ends where they both have to read their son's potentially shitty play. And they have to figure out how they're going to tell him if they're going to use this newfound rule of being honest to your son.
Yeah.
Or if they're going to lie his ass off and tell him it's a great play.
Right.
I thought that was really interesting.
It was fun. I saw that at the Los Feliz 3. Me and Jimmy went, and it was just like, just like enjoyment.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
just low stakes.
Yeah.
And our boy, actually, that's what caused us to watch Rome because
Tobias Menzies.
we were like, hell yeah, we love that guy.
He's so good. I was down on him. I was like, does this guy get to be opposite Julia Louis-Dreyfus in Nicole Holofcener film?
Yeah.
He killed it. Whatever.
No, he was good.
I thought he was amazing. As the therapist,
Yeah.
he was very nonchalant, but you could tell like there was some deep emotion he was going through.
Yeah.
Like when David Cross accuses him of putting a bunch of tissues in his trash can so that it looks like he's had all these breakthrough sessions. You don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. So The Kids Are All Right is Lisa Cholodenko.
Okay.
But it's like very much like if there was like a collection of those kinds of movies, the DVD would slide right in. So I would recommend that. And then this woman also made Laurel Canyon, which is great.
I've never seen it.
I think it's streaming. It's Frances McDormand.
Oh, okay.
Christian Bale plays her son, and Kate Beckinsale is his wife. And Frances McDormand is like a legendary like Hollywood music producer who lives in Laurel Canyon, and he's like a med student. Him and his fiance are a med student, and they go and stay with her in Laurel Canyon, but she's like smoking weed and like fucking around, and like he's all like uptight and like embarrassed about his mom, but then Kate Beckinsale like is starting to like vibe on like the Laurel Canyon scene, and then it caused a rift, and it's really good.
Cool. So she's getting Frances McDormand pilled?
Yes.
Whoa, that's awesome. Frances McDormand was really good in Friends with Money.
Yeah.
I don't see her as that type of vibe a lot. I don't know why she doesn't pick roles like that anymore, but it was cool to see her like that.
Yeah. She also slays. My favorite is when she plays Diane Keaton's sister in Something's Gotta Give.
Diane Keaton's sister in Something's Gotta Give. Yes. That's the movie with Jack Nicholson, right?
Yes.
Okay. I remember her in it. I know she's good. I like that movie a lot.
They have a fun, before he has a heart attack, they have a fun dinner party where they're like shooting the shit and like asking him questions, and it's fun.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, good.
Anyways, that was the movies about white women's small problems minute.
Yes.
Which is my favorite kind of movie.
Is there anything else before we leave this? Is there another example that I might not have seen that's underrated that's in, well, I guess you already said
Well, it's
Canyon.
like,
I mean,
I feel like it's like Nancy Meyers,
right.
Nora Ephron,
right.
Nicole Holofcener, Lisa Cholodenko. I'll think of more, but like they're the pantheon.
Yes. Okay. Well, I love it. Yeah, and then we were talking about Michael Imperioli, right, and James Gandolfini. I'm not exactly sure why, but good.
Yeah, I don't know how we got there, but to bring it back to Bravo.
We were talking about Chris crashing his car in Sopranos. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
okay,
we could transition straight into...
Do you want to talk about that first? I
sure.
think that's
the big news this week is the fucked up and sad scenario where Shannon Beador crashed her car into someone's house in Newport.
And then kept going.
Yeah.
And
with Archie in the car.
So TMZ has reported many details of this story. It started out at a place called A Restaurant in Orange County. Did you hear that detail?
No.
Okay, so like a restaurant. And apparently Shannon was, getting drunk, and TMZ reported that Alexis Bellino was also there.
Really?
Yeah, and that Shannon was
together?
No. Oh. Like she was also there at a restaurant, and that Shannon was like talking shit about Alexis, like loud, like sort of like
Jesus drugs.
Yes, exactly. So it's like it was probably like the quiet woman atmosphere, but just at a different restaurant.
Yeah.
And they were like, I don't know, but apparently Shannon was getting upset, and then we don't know if like there's any John Jansen element to this, yet, right? Because people are saying that after, so she got drunk, she got in her car, she drove, then they have the footage of her driving, and she goes down. It's trafficy. It looks like this was like 8 or 9 on a Saturday. Is that when it happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like busy out. And she goes down a smaller side street, and it's kind of a street that curves, and she whips around this curve so fast. Like, if you're
drunk... It looked
drunk,
like she was going like 50 miles per hour.
Yeah, if you're drunk, and it looks like the street, like something about the street, either she takes it all the time or she didn't know it at all. I don't know which one. She either felt very comfortable or had no clue what the hell was coming after that left turn, because it was a curving, quiet street.
Yeah, and it was like one of those like beach areas where the front doors of people's houses are at the curb.
Yes.
Like there's just a sidewalk. That's it. There's no like driveway. It's not like she drove like 12 feet into someone's front door. It was like there was no room for error.
Right. Yeah. And then she just continues that curve too much, continues on the curve journey and hits right into a house, slams into it. The front...
I'm surprised that she didn't actually crash through.
It was, thankfully, there was like that brick, very low brick planter wall. And then the front door of that house is like right there, right behind the brick wall. So then she backs up. And this entire time, I mean, I guess she left Archie in her car or brought Archie to a restaurant. Which do you think?
Yeah.
You think she just left him in her car while she had a drink? And then
I don't like thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, the Archie element is definitely horrible, that she drove drunk with Archie in the car and got in an accident. Then she backs up and she leaves. Like, her instincts or whatever, her drunken instincts were to flee the scene, at least for 20 seconds. But then we just saw, you showed me a video. There's people walking around, and then you can see the street. It's a busy street. Like, I don't know if that's like Newport Boulevard or whatever the hell she was. The one, like, it was.
Yeah, but people were like, saw what she did and followed her with a camera, got the license plate. So she was fucked. So she immediately.
So she knew she was busted. So for some reason, I don't know why I pictured this at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., thinking you can drunk drive home and get home and not affect anybody else. But this was prime time.
Yeah.
And there's people all around, and they film her. They got her license plate, so she knew she was busted.
Yeah.
And then the one last aspect of the story is that she got out of her car, which looks busted to shit.
Yeah.
Because the front bumper is hanging off.
Yeah.
And then she started to pretend to walk Archie around as if she's just a normal dog walking person. And then Kelly Dodd, I don't know how she has this information, said that Shannon broke her arm in the car. I mean, I'm sure Kelly got it through the Orange County grapevine.
Yeah.
Like maybe Vicky heard it from Tamra, you know, whoever still talks to Shannon.
Yeah.
But yes, and then there's photos, and it looks like Shannon's arm is in a sling, and you can just see one sleeve of her jacket hanging when she went to John's house.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my God. Yeah, I heard a clip of Two Teas in a Pod where Tamra was saying that she literally had like a meeting or something with Shannon on Sunday. So this happened on Saturday. And she said that she like fully, spoke with and like talked with and had a meeting with Shannon on Sunday. And Shannon just never mentioned it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if she thought she was going to resolve it on her own, like it wasn't going to come out, or if she just wasn't ready to spill. But Tamra was like, I'm shaking. I literally just heard the news.
Well, if you were not going to tell someone something, I mean, or what's that? Tamra's obviously the absolute worst person in the world you could ever tell a secret to. Yeah.
And then I heard, so one thing I had heard was that she had gotten in a fight with John and that she was like driving away in a rage. And then I heard that once the cops intercepted her, that they took Archie back to John's.
Okay.
Why does it make me so sad? I'm like, I know that like for the safety of humans and herself, obviously she shouldn't have done what she did, but I'm like, but to have that beautiful golden retriever in the car.
Yeah, I mean,
who trusts her completely.
It's true. I mean, people like, obviously if it's a different matter if there was another person in the car. People like to treat dogs and humans differently, but I mean, I feel the same affection for
he's like the best dog on Bravo.
Yeah, he's so sweet. We've talked about this before, but I have a dog named Archie.
Yeah, it really hits home.
Yeah, it really hits home. So yeah, then John, and then I guess so the John era is definitely still continuing.
Ugh,
I mean, she just
said
on Watch What Happens Live that they don't see each other except randomly, and that they're not talking or whatever. But maybe she's just.
But someone else, there was so much information.
Yeah.
Who was it? Someone said that they had just gone to dinner with her or something like recently.
Emily?
And maybe. And John was, when they listed who was there, John was one of the people.
Yeah, I think because when Andy asked Shannon about that on Watch What Happens Live, about what's the current status, he said Emily said that you still see John. So I think that's how they got there.
Yeah, I think she needs to release an apology. And it better mention Archie.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think that the latest news is that she's entering like a rehab facility.
Oh, she is?
I'm pretty sure. I think that's the last thing I saw, because she made a statement.
Oh, she did?
Yeah. Not an official statement, but she just told outlets or told someone, and sources confirmed that this is what she's doing.
I heard counseling.
Oh, counseling. Okay, yeah.
Which to me just meant like therapy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Probably
Which I'm like,
that.
well, you should probably already be doing that.
Yeah, not rehab. I think, yeah, that would be too big of a step. I think, yeah, you're right. Counseling probably.
Jeff Lewis was saying, because I guess she was supposed to be on his show this week and she canceled, obviously. He was like, first of all, Jeff Lewis, like, cannot be squashed. Like, I feel like he's in the news every day.
Yeah.
Like, at least Bravo News, like my feeds.
Right.
Like, there's always something going on with him, and it's funny to me. But anyways, he was like, in my opinion, she's not an alcoholic.
Yeah.
She's just going through a tough time, which I'm like, whatever. I don't know. I don't want to get into like defining alcoholism, but I just mean like, I'm like, but she does need to figure out her relationship with alcohol for sure.
I agree with that like nuance. It's like, obviously you need to assess your relationship with alcohol if you got into a car and drove and crashed.
Right.
Even if you're not bordering on alcoholic or whatever the clinical term is.
Because it always seemed, I could never tell. I always felt like the women sort of used that as a way to like get a dig in at her that she was an alcoholic. And I was always like, I mean, just because she drinks vodka all the time, like whatever, she can do what she wants.
Right. I never believed them about that.
Right. But like sometimes I did wonder, like they kind of implied that like there was more than we were seeing, which I'm like, it's dark. I don't know.
Right. They did allude to it, but no one specifically said like Shannon drinks too much.
And then we were just watching a clip I saw on TikTok. Someone posted from the now very relevant season when Gina got her DUI, where Shannon is talking to Kelly Dodd, talking about how Gina got a DUI, and they're like, "There's no excuse this day and age, like to get into a car." And they're like, "There's no excuse," and Shannon goes, "None."
Yeah, I mean, it's a complete hypocrite. I mean, I think that everyone, but specifically Bravo celebrities or, anyone, housewife, like if you're even going to have one drink, it's like you're all, well off enough to just make it a blanket rule that you will be driven home by an Uber or car service. I mean, I don't know why she made that decision at all. And it seemed like she was egregiously drunk. I mean, it was such bad driving and a bad decision right after to try to leave. Yeah.
I can also see like, she's such a spaz. Like, we'll get into this week's episode, but like the combination of her and Vicky's like quote unquote physical comedy where they like act like they can't stand on their own 2 feet is both hilarious and ridiculous. And so now I'm just like picturing her in the car like, whoa!
Yeah, like exactly. Yeah, like if she wasn't drunk and we hadn't known that she was drinking, I could almost imagine that like the radio turned on too loud or something, and Shannon would have had the exact same reaction of crashing into somebody's planner. But it makes it not funny or fun at all that she was drunk.
No.
But like John called her on the thing and she couldn't get it to work, and she pressed the speaker button and just some comedy of errors happened. But
I'm gonna be honest though, like, well, we have a lot of time because the season literally just ended. Like next week is the last episode. That we're not going to have to deal with this as a community for like a really long time on the show.
So you don't think that they will figure out a way to like wedge this into the commentary of this season?
Haven't they already filmed the reunion?
Yeah, but like,
do you think they're going to put it in the scroll at the end of the last episode?
Shortly after the reunion tape, Shannon got into a full-blown DUI.
Maybe they'll put it in. I mean, that's the easiest thing to do, text-wise.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this. Like, will they just fully relegate it to next season?
That'll be the opener.
Yeah, but knowing how Bravo works now of trying to like get stuff in from this season and not
Why does this keep happening? There keeps being these momentous events like a week after like they're done.
It's like everyone's letting their hair down and letting loose and excited that they get a vacation from what's probably a stressful 6 months of their life or 4 months of their life, and then they go a while. Or a lot of people like with Ralph and Drew, they waited till the end of filming because they didn't want their relationship to end on camera for whatever reason, so maybe it's just a time of like spring cleaning.
I keep seeing memes like now. I've seen multiple TikToks where people use that guitar music that they play at the end with the updates
Uh-huh.
of the, what do you call that? Like
The
end of season
credits?
updates.
Yeah.
Like where they're like, such and such is
Yeah.
still looking for love.
love
And it's like,
those. Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, I love those.
And it's a funny meme format. But I wonder if they'll stick
What did they put that on?
like videos. It'll be like, people will sort of do like their take on a housewife
Oh.
with that music
Oh,
playing.
okay. Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, I don't know if they'll waste it on that.
I don't know either. I mean, I don't know if it's horrible and it's very real, but I don't know if it warrants like the attention now. Like that we
I bet
need
you
to.
they're gonna like open the next season with the footage.
Oh.
And then it's gonna be like, spliced in with, I don't know, like her like walking to court or something,
Oh,
and then it's
yeah.
gonna be like 3 months earlier or whatever.
Totally. Yeah, I think so for sure. So yeah, I mean, this isn't fun to talk about, obviously.
No, I get like it makes me worried about the state of all housewives. Like I'm like, is everyone okay? Like everyone needs to take a minute. Like I don't want this to turn into a thing where you're, in like a mental spiral, and then it turns into like that the show is unhealthy, and then Bethenny's gonna like get out her gavel and say like cancel Housewives.
Reality reckoning, like Shannon's mental strain. I don't know. Shannon is such a pro at this show now, and this show is not contributing anything more than what Shannon would be going through without the show. I mean, that's a blanket statement, but
Yeah,
but I do get what you're saying. It's like, is this so? Like, did Teresa, in an effort to keep up with the Joneses, try to like, whatever, do bad business decisions to make more money or whatever? Which is what's the chicken and the
or the
egg?
egg, yeah. I watched it. I've been on TikTok a lot this week.
You have?
Yeah. I watched, I get Bethenny's always, and I watched one that was entertaining. Actually, she was very reasonable in this one. She was talking about that when she was auditioning as an actress in the 90s, she got lured into a Scientology office. It sounded like she was talking about the one on like Franklin, because she said it looked like a castle. And she said that it was scary, and they did what I assumed to be like the stress test on her.
Auditing.
And yeah. And she said it freaked her out and blah, blah, blah. And then she started talking about Danny Masterson and
wow.
how she had so much like empathy for the women, because she compared the trial to, she didn't really name names, but she was saying that her divorce trial was, she said, I was abused for 10 years. It was the worst thing I've ever been through, like even worse than my childhood, like terrible, whatever. And I was like, I want to hear more about that. And she's never been allowed to really talk about it, but I'm like dying to hear like the fucked up shit that Jason did to her. But anyways, the reason I brought it up was I read the comments, and someone was saying like, it was about Danny Masterson and stuff. And someone in the comments was like we're finally lifting the veil off of Hollywood or something like that. And she replied like, yes. Like,
right,
and I'm like, oh God, here we go. Like,
Yeah, so it's
like now like Danny Masterson's like Scientology rape is like intertwined
Right.
with like the Housewives like filming schedule. Like,
Right.
no.
like we're used to rooting for Bethenny and like cherishing all of her endeavors, and then now one of her endeavors is trying to bring down Bravo completely, and we're like, wait, no, I
Not
like you.
that.
I like you to be right about everything else. Just please not this. Oh, speaking of, should we say it?
Perfect transition.
Segue. So last week we talked about. So again, Jacob Marley's ghost, if he was rattling his chains and he came to Bethenny's bedroom and he said, Bethenny, do you wish, here are your two futures. Either you burn the Bravo bridge, and this is what you do now, you're a Bravo commentator and you start the reality reckoning, or you go back, you don't disparage anything about Bravo, and you become a celebrated figure in the Bravo universe. You were at BravoCon, you're on Ultimate Girls Trip Season 5, you're getting the Lifetime Achievement Award. You exist outside of the Bravo universe, but you are heralded within the Bravo universe. Which do you want? And that came up on Bethenny's TikTok for some reason. I was, right? I mean, because it had her name in it. And Bethenny responded. So this is a Turtle Time exclusive. I mean, anybody on TikTok could have seen this, but
yeah, this video wasn't even one of ours that like has blown up. It had like 1,000 views.
No, this was just Bethenny got tagged in it, and I think Bethenny was having a TikTok night, which is awesome. I mean, she's on TikTok a lot, which I like. We're on TikTok a lot. So Bethenny said this to that Jacob Marley Burning Bridge Bravo feature. Which feature do you want? She goes, for whatever reason, literally don't care. No one has anything I want. I always have to be true to myself and my gut. XO. It was like, well, I thought that was a great response. Because first of all, hugs and kisses to Turtle Time, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It only has 4. I just liked it for the first time from our account. So now it has 4 likes. Like no one cares.
Wow.
Should we like reply to the comment at some point? Like do the thing where you like reply to comment.
Yeah.
Create a video and see what she says.
Yeah.
You should be like, we made you the #1 housewife of all time.
I would workshop it now, but I don't want to I want to really think about it.
We'll do it after.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought that's the spirit that I've appreciated about Bethenny the entire time. You know,
she
like
keeps it real.
She keeps it real. She is a pioneer or a maverick in some way. And I guess like Bravo has nothing she wants, is what she's saying. Mm-hmm. Bravo has nothing to offer her anymore, and she's following her gut. She's being true to herself. So,
well, luckily, I was saying this before. Luckily, our clip was edited in such a way that it was nothing derogatory. Because I think before and after the beginning and end of the clip, I said some rude shit. And I was like, when I saw her comment and then I watched the clip, I was like, did it keep in the part where I was like, just like absolutely talking shit? And it didn't. So she got to just enjoy it without feeling judged.
I mean, and we weren't that rude. I mean, it was, I said that she'd only be known for that seafood broil TikTok or whatever, which I was being, obviously, being a little bit of a stinker too.
Yeah. I think that, you know, how all these stars have been auctioning off fun things for the strike.
Yeah, like David Cross and Bob Odenkirk auctioned off a dinner with them.
Oh, that's fun. John Lithgow has art for auction that he painted of dogs.
Wait, so rich people pay for this stuff and then they'll give the money to striking...
Yeah, it's like a fund.
Writers and actors?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was thinking that Bethenny should do a crawfish broil with her.
That would be... So how much would one possibly pay for that?
Maybe she could do it where it could be like for a dinner for 12, like a long picnic table where there's just the crawfish and everything down the middle. And then if it goes up to really expensive, like 10 grand or something, you could split it with all your friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. So it'd be like that Summer House, the first episode of Summer House when Kristen, Sheena, and Stassi went to, and they go, we don't know how to eat crab. And Sheena was like, I don't eat that kind of stuff.
Sheena's like, I don't do shots. I don't eat crawfish.
Yeah, but you remember?
Yeah.
They did that, and then they never did that again in Summer House.
Yeah.
They never did a crawfish
Yeah,
broil.
that was totally like East Coast porn, like beach porn.
Yeah, they were all wearing like lobster bibs and buttering up crab legs or whatever.
You're making me hungry.
Let's deliver a seafood broil to your house.
I still think we should do a video, and now it's kind of like late now because Bethenny did it so long ago, but I kind of want to keep it going forever. We should just do videos where we're like first person eating.
Yeah, of course. Well, we can do it forever. I mean, I think it's going to stand the test of time.
Should I be that for Halloween?
Yes. Oh my God, it's easy.
Bethenny eating shrimp.
You just need those two things under your eyes, right? Like those, what are those things? Like
eye
cooling
pads.
patches? Yeah, and then you need a big, huge plastic, like what is sheath around your body, right? Did she have gloves?
Yeah, I think
gloves,
she did.
It's so easy. And then a big just bucket of...
And I'll use real seafood. Then I can just eat it all night.
Right.
I'll be like the guy on, not to jump ahead, Southern Charm, the oyster shucker at the party.
Oh, right, where he had that little bib and he had all the accoutrements for
and
oysters.
You had to just like throw the shell in his bucket that was on his waist.
That was cool.
I was wondering how I would feel about that. I feel like I really like oysters, and if they were set up at a buffet, I would go in and eat a bunch of them. But if I had a man just like watching me eat them, I'd probably only have like one, which is maybe the point.
It's the same it's the same experience as when people pass around the plates of little
Yeah.
appetizers at parties, and you feel kind of weird being like, can you come over here
Yeah.
again? Because
Yeah.
they keep track of how many you eat. You don't.
They're like, damn, bitch.
Right. And they're also so small that anyone would want 2 or 3.
I actually feel the opposite. I feel bad when I don't want what they're offering because I feel like they're like, why am I fucking here?
Oh, I'm never in that position. I try to eat as many of those things as they come around, but I try not to bother the person so they can still go around as much as possible.
Yeah.
So if Bethenny did charge $10,000 for a Bethenny themed seafood boil? Seafood?
Yeah.
Bethenny's
All you can eat.
at Bethenny's all you can eat broil. Bethenny's all you can eat. What's
it should
a B
be
word?
like in the theme of like, remember, like Nini's all white girls and gays seafood soiree or whatever it was
right.
called.
Yeah. What's a B? What's a B word that has a fish orientation?
What about like Bethenny's blowout,
I love the word blowout.
barnacle?
People would think they're
Bar.
eating barnacles. Barnacle bar. That would just be a cool name for her to have a bar like near the ocean, like in the Hamptons.
She should
Bethenny's-
turn her little back house into that.
Bethenny's Barnacle Bar? That would be so awesome. I would go there all the time.
Remember when she invited the housewives of Beverly Hills over to her Barnacle Bar, and she kept implying that Erica Jane was like a whore?
Yeah, I do remember that. I really need to watch that again because for some reason I think I blocked it out of my memory that Bethenny was on Beverly Hills for a second.
She was trying really hard to like be a bitch.
Yeah, like
She was like, I don't even know what like your guys' deal is.
right.
I honestly, sorry, we're so like all over the place right now, but like it's literally Erica Jane got the same treatment that Lala got on VPR, where everyone was
Yes.
just like, you're too sexually free. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it blew their minds. What Erica was doing, they were like, "Whoa, what the hell? You can't do that." As a
but
Beverly
they're so
Hills.
on board now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's
They're
like
like
entrenched.
a painkiller.
She's like the secret boss of all of them now.
Totally.
They can't go against her.
Totally. Can't wait to see her show.
Which one? Oh yeah, right.
What's it called? Erica Jane's
Bethany's bar. No, Erica Jane's
sumptuous sex show.
Erica Jane. What's her? Erica Jane is her name is her pseudonym.
Yeah.
And then what's her actual name?
Girardi.
Erica Girardi.
Yeah.
And then Erica Jane is just her stage name.
Yeah, I think that might be like her middle name. Like I think that might be her real, because she said that she was named after a soap opera. What's her name? Erica Kane. Is that?
Oh, okay.
People
So
are gonna
she's like-
yell that they know who she is. But anyways, I remember her and Andy bonded over that because Andy loves soap operas. But anyways, yeah. So Bethenny, keep the content coming. Apparently though, my friend said she listened to, I guess she had Brynn on her podcast, which was like another like 14-minute episode.
No.
And apparently it was just like Bethenny accosting her daughter at like why she's like skeeved out by her mom.
Oh. Bethany had Brynn, her daughter,
Yes.
on and interviewed her about the things she hates about Bethenny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like she was like, why like when I come in your room, are you like, get out? And she's like, I don't know.
Brynn does not like the spotlight yet.
No.
Bethenny really wants her to have some of the spotlight, but
I'm kind of like scared because for a long time I was like, actually, like Bethenny, whatever. I'm not accusing her of being a bad mom or anything like that. Like she seems like a good mom. She has like a good relationship with her kid, but I think she's like in for a fucking rude awakening when Brynn's not her like little baby sidekick anymore.
when
you know
she
what I
starts
mean?
to do things outside of Bethany's control.
Yeah. She was talking the other night about how Brynn ordered a poke bowl without her consent on an app, and Bethenny was in the bath and it was like, your poke bowl has arrived, and she was like, your poke, and she was like doing her whole bit where she's like, a poke what? I don't know what the fuck a poke bowl is. I'm like, yes you do, clown. You live in New York City, like you know, you're a chef, you know what a poke bowl is.
And they've been popular for maybe 5 years or
more like 12 years.
Right.
She was like, Poke what?
That was a
Pokemon.
That was a TikTok she did?
Yeah.
Wow.
She posts constantly.
Her 90% of her TikToks are good. I'm just going to say.
I mean, I watch them all. But she's like actively getting flack for this makeup thing. Are you following?
Bethenny is now getting. She is the new villain. People want to make her the target of their ire because of the Raquel thing or whatever, and little indiscretions she's had in the past or whatever. And so now anything Bethenny does, people are latching onto it. I did not find anything offensive about what she did. A white savior complex because she gave makeup to a TJ Maxx employee.
It's just weird. Like, she goes about the world in a very weird way. Like, she has main character syndrome. I'll say that.
That's fine. And she's earned it. In her mind, she is a main character. She became the main character of Real Housewives of New York City from her 3 seasons on it. She's the main character on many shows. She obviously... we all watch her, so she is a main character in a lot of our lives. I get it. I watch prank shit like that. Not prank shit, but I watch TikTok gifting all the time. I watch this one guy who says, in 5 seconds, if you can draw whatever's at Target, I'll buy it for you. Mm-hmm. No one's accusing him of like slumming it with Target people who are too poor to buy a PlayStation 5.
It's just funny. She's just very like, she's so aggressive. Like, she's in TJ Maxx, which she already like tried to bring down TJ Maxx, but now she's friends with TJ Maxx again.
Fake shit.
Yeah, there's like a scam where people return shit. But
one of the best scams I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
But she needs to shine a light on it.
But then now she's like fully back shopping there. So I don't know what changed, because she was trying to like take them down. Like, she was like, TJ Maxx, you owe me more than a refund. Like, I advertise you so much, blah, blah, blah. And then like now she just again shops there. So I don't know if I missed a chapter or what. But then she was like, these are all my friends who work at TJ Maxx. Like, they always compliment what I buy. And she's like, these are my friends. And then she goes to the woman, she goes, what's your name? What's your name? Right. And I'm like, I thought she was your friend. And she's like, Consuela. And she's like, Consuela, come over here. I'm going to give you free shit. I'm going to give you all this free makeup. It's open, but it's fine. And it's just like, I'm like, leave them alone. Like, what? Like, some of them are excited and into it. Like, sometimes she'll go into a store and they'll be like, oh my God, you're here. But this woman was confused. She was like, we're not allowed to accept gifts. Like, I'm going to get in trouble. And she was like, no, she's like, I'm going to call corporate, whatever. I was just like, this is so chaotic. Like, her energy is like scary.
It's scary. It's frightening. It'll curdle your blood. But there is no difference in my mind than that and the Blink-182 video where they're giving out $500,000 to everyone who was walking around and making people shave their heads for $1,000. It's just, she's wealthy. She wants to spread wealth. She thinks it'll be a good TikTok. And the fact that it's Bethenny and people think that she's, I don't know what they think Bethenny is. Racist?
Yeah, no.
I mean,
it's just, I'm like, I understand giving your leftover shit to like your assistants, like people that are like in your household. It seems strange to take it out into the wild and just like dole out like opened items to cashiers. The nefarious read of that is that I think some people said that like, how do you know Consuela can't afford your opened makeup, or why would she want your open makeup? I mean, I am assuming that Consuela would be fine with having makeup, but if she wasn't, I guess, would I even if we interviewed Consuela, which we can, let's go to TJ Maxx in New York. That would be a great, interview for us. If she said, no, I didn't like it. It made me embarrassed. And okay. Yeah.
So Bethenny, okay, she did something wrong.
She leaps before she looks. So anything that if there's ever like backlash about anything, it's because she just like does it. Like, she does whatever she wants. Like, she doesn't like think about it first, which
I like that.
Yeah.
She does whatever the hell she wants.
Yeah.
And we just watch and comment and try to figure it out and see if we still like her. And
I do like, though, usually her comments are actually like extremely positive. And now, like, this week, like, I watched a video of her trying to put on fake eyelashes last night, and all the comments were like, are you gonna go give away these used lashes too? And I was like, this is kind of fun. Like, fun. It was just like light bullying, like just like nothing too intense.
Bethenny also, from what I've seen, any negative comments, she comments back and just says fuck you or whatever, she's so good at she doesn't give a shit about negative comments at all.
Yeah. I mean, you can't win. Like, there's this other woman that I watch all the time that she's trying to, for her family, only cook dinner or like any food that they make in the house is what they already have, because they have this huge like back pile of like canned goods and like stuff in their house. And she's okay with eating like expired canned items because they last longer than you think and whatever. And it's like she's doing a series to get people inspired to use what food they have instead of like buying or throwing their food away or whatever. And it's very relaxing. I recommend it.
Why did she have such a backlog of food?
She just like...
Was it like kind of like The Shining when Jack Nicholson goes into that cupboard?
Yeah,
and
the cupboard. Doesn't like something fall on his head in there?
Has made it turn into like a silly comedy, like he slipped on a banana and then tomato sauce fell on his head. I don't think so.
Or
I mean,
she like rips him. Like, doesn't she like hit him in the head? Like, he has a head injury when he's in there.
She bops him on the head and then she pulls him into the cupboard and he's freaking out in there because he wants to kill them so bad. Nobody's
I
ever.
feel like he says some funny shit in there.
He goes, what's her name in it? He goes,
what is?
Well, first of all, he says, "Here's Johnny," but not in the cupboard. He goes, "What's her name? Not Shelley Duvall. That's her real name."
Yeah, blank Torrance.
Torrance.
It's
oh my God!
It's like Cindy.
Cindy Torrance. Cindy. Anyway, I'm just so she puts him in there. He is flipping out. Nobody's ever wanted to kill their family more. Wendy. That's a good name. Wendy, I'm not gonna hurt you.
Yeah, and I love when he says that. Not gonna hurt you.
Yeah, and then you think it's like, who's gonna open the door for this guy? Obviously, he wants to kill his family so bad. It's that ghost butler, the ghost bartender guy.
He's racist.
Jack Grady.
Remember?
Oh, Grady is so racist.
Terrible.
Grady, he's awful. He's the one who goes. He goes, when my daughter started to speak up, I corrected her. Do you remember that part?
Don't they also hang out in that cool all red bathroom?
Yes, they do. Did you ever see? We've never talked about this, and it's one of my favorite things to talk about. Did you ever see Dr. Sleep, the sequel to The Shining?
I watched it.
Oh, you didn't like it.
I liked it more than most people, actually.
I loved it.
People were like, disgusting trash. I was like, I kind of liked it.
It's a cult classic. People are coming around on this Mike Flanagan film.
I feel like I should read it. I mean, it did, the steampunk styling on Rebecca Ferguson was a little upsetting.
Megan hates that too. She hates that hat that she's wearing.
It's embarrassing.
I love that hat. It's a top hat.
It is sinister.
She pulled out stuff like
if you see a woman dressed like that, run.
Will you be Rose the Hat for Halloween instead of
Is that her name?
Rose the Hat.
Okay, so it's important that
it's
she wear that.
It's important that she has that wonderful top hat on her head.
She needed like a steampunk monocle too.
Exactly.
But I kind of like that movie.
I love it, and so I was shocked. I was sad that you might not like it because I was going to be hyperbolically rhapsodize on it. But he had to sync two completely different source materials because it had to be a sequel to The Shining, which doesn't take into account Stephen King's actual ending, and then also make it an adaptation of the book. So anyway, it was a great, I think, syncing of the two source materials.
Okay. Well, I love my Ewan McGregor.
Oh, I know, he's so good in it.
Love him.
He's underrated.
Yeah. What's he up to?
I don't know. I mean, he was in Dr. Sleep, and then that was a flop. But he's always doing good. Oh, he's been in a lot of Disney garbage. He's been reprising his role as Obi-Wan Kenobi in a lot of stuff.
Okay. The only Disney one I like is Christopher Robin. Did you see that?
Oh,
he plays Christopher Robin,
the little boy who was friends with Winnie
Pooh.
the Pooh. Is Winnie the Pooh in it?
Yeah.
Is he a live action, like not live action, but a CGI modeled character?
It's like. I just remember it came out like 5+ years ago, and I just remember like sobbing. It's like a very like heartfelt take on like rekindling with your inner child.
Oh, it's like Hook.
Yeah, but not annoying.
Okay, so like a better version of Hook, where Christopher Robin comes back and he's like, "Did I have a friend that was a stuffed animal that was a bear?" And then when he goes back, they all start to come to life.
Yeah, it's like I don't remember the exact plot, but he has to close a chapter. Come to terms with something. It's very sweet. I would recommend it.
All right. Well, why don't we take a pause and then watch Christopher Robin together?
Right now? Okay. Okay. I just
any news. Sorry. I didn't mean to.
This is not like big news, but I was watching Watch What Happens Live this week, and Karamo Brown from Queer Eye was on, and Andy said that Karamo is hosting the Vanderpump Rules panel at BravoCon.
Okay.
and I have questions.
Okay, so I have questions too. First is, who is Karamo? Because I don't know who that is.
He's the like life advice guy on Queer Eye, which is borderline the most unnecessary category besides Antony's like food, which is like make avocado toast. This is how you do it, or whatever.
He always one guy just tries to always make them healthy, like or eat better.
Yeah, it's just like not very helpful advice. It feels like they just mandatory had to have food. And
did they create the term metrosexual?
Back in the day, that was definitely the era. I don't know if it stemmed from that show.
Remember
but
that
maybe.
era?
Yeah.
That was like just after 9/11.
OG Bravo.
Yeah. What? Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Was it a Bravo invention?
Yeah.
Metrosexual?
Oh, well, Queer Eye.
Oh, right. That was early Bravo.
But now it's Netflix.
But I was saying that meant that it was a straight man that dresses good.
Yeah, and this happens on Sex and the City, but I don't think they use that term. But there's an episode where I forget the actor's name, but I can picture him perfectly. Charlotte dates a question mark guy who seems gay based on his interests and his fashion, but then he like wants to bone, so it's confusing. And Carrie's voiceover is like, a new phenomenon of men who live in metropolitan cities who have like overexposure to like fashion and entertainment or whatever. And it's like, she's wearing a dress and he's like, is that Cynthia Rowley? And then he's like obsessed with like Barbara Streisand, and it's all these like very stereotypical things.
I see.
And it's kind of offensive, but she draws the line at him screaming when he sees a mouse.
Wow, there's a Sex and the City example for reference for everything.
It's true.
Also, it's in Friends with Money.
Oh, really?
Well, because Frances McDormand's husband, everyone thinks that he's secretly gay.
Oh, okay.
And then he has he meets another guy friend who they all think is gay too, and he has this like platonic friend date with this guy. Anyway, that was
I need to
the era
rewatch
of-
that.
Yeah.
I would love to have that on DVD, quite honestly.
Oh, I'll get it for you.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so Karamo.
Is it because you don't think he has in-depth knowledge of Vanderpump Rules, or does he?
I mean,
just not
he
seem
seems
like
like a Bravo fan. He does a lot of like red carpets, and I just find him. I can't like get down with his vibe. I don't know if it's because he's trying to come from like a positive like self-help angle all the time, or like I'm just like, he's one of those people where I'm like not quite sure. He keeps like popping up, and I'm like,
why? Who wants this?
Kind of. I listened to that podcast, Keep It, and Ira Madison, one of the hosts, they had him on, and they kind of had like a feud.
Whoa.
And so I always think of him when I see Karamo, and I'm like, I would rather have Ira host the Vanderpump panel.
Yeah, I mean, or us.
Or us. We could really go in.
What would be your first opening icebreaker question?
Oh my God. What does Vanderpump Rules mean?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That would be the best icebreaker.
Vanderpump Rules. These are the Vanderpump rules.
Right. That would be great. That would put every. Do you think the audience would laugh?
Yeah.
And would the
And
cast...
third one is all hail Lisa Vanderpump as she rules.
Wait. Yeah. One is Vanderpump Rules like she rules, like that old term of like she's
O'Doyle
cool.
rules.
Right. Then there's these are the rules in which you abide if you're under Lisa's rule. No. Oh, sorry. That's getting too conflated. These are the rules to which we live by from Lisa Vanderpump.
Yeah.
Or,
the rules.
What's the third option?
Vanderpump rules over us.
Vanderpump rules over all.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, my God. I can't believe there's three. That would be amazing to get to the bottom of that.
And I bet Lisa's answer would be like, all three, you dumb bitch.
Who would say that?
Lisa.
The minute we asked that question, they would bring one of those old-timey canes out from the side of the stage, and they would yank us off, and then Karamo would come.
The Apollo.
Exactly.
Yoink.
Yep. We would get fully yoinked, and then Karamo would just immediately take the seat where we were.
When you first put your arm out like that, I thought I was picturing like a taser.
Oh, right. I don't think the reception would be that bad.
But anyways, I don't know. Because like there are a bunch of, I think there's going to be a lot of moderators, for some reason in my mind I'm like Andy only,
I
but
know,
then
he
it's
can't do
like
it.
I know that like Michael Rappaport was maybe going to do one, which I think would be fun because I like his energy. He's like just like wily.
Yeah.
Like that sounds kind of like funny to me.
I like his energy less than you.
Okay. I think he's great on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah, he's great. I like that he has strong, emphatic takes.
He always like
I think
whoever the other person on is, like I think they're like lucky to have him.
Yeah, I think he's just wrong
Okay.
80% of the time, but I like that he has strong takes. And he's not afraid to voice them. But
Yeah.
I just think he's wrong all the time.
Okay.
You and I don't think we're going to be able to lock in the Vanderpump Rules panel, but I think you and I, outside of like the Flamingo or something in like an alley, or maybe the Golden Nugget,
Yeah.
we get one Bravo celebrity to go with us there. Who could we get? And you and I host a very quick,
Come with us.
come with us. We're meeting in the alley. It's like Goodfellas. I don't know if you remember when Robert De Niro tries to get Karen to go buy he's selling clothes in the alley and he goes, Karen, get over here. You try on something nice. And she doesn't want to go in the alley because she thinks he's going to kill her. Anyway, what's the one Bravo celebrity that's so low on the totem pole? Forget we said this, but that we could probably get to go to like the Golden Nugget by the pool and we host a Turtle Time unsanctioned
Yeah.
panel.
Yeah.
Who do you think we can get?
I'm trying to think
Who's
of like the tertiary.
How about Olivia on Southern Charm?
She is someone that I cannot hold down in my mind.
As a human?
I'm like, did they really date? I'm like,
I was
who's who?
I was going to ask you, as we transition to Southern Charm, because we're going to talk about Southern Charm first, that's the first question I have for you. I don't think Olivia and Austin ever dated. I never saw evidence of it.
He kind of always like kept her on a wide leash.
It never happened. Okay, so maybe, not Olivia, because I don't think we'd have a lot of, well, I'd have
Honestly,
that question.
the Olivia and Taylor combo, I'm like, who? Like, I get very like, huh?
Well, you get, I definitely have a hoo-ha when I see them, but I get why they're there. They are the fractured spin-off of what the boys have wrought on them. You know what I mean? Like
No, it's perfect that they have each other.
Yes.
And this upcoming drama, they're setting it up nicely for it to be a huge scandal with what happens next because they are bonded together based on their betrayal of each of the men.
Right. Madison is the pioneer of this. I mean, she was in a relationship with Austin. The havoc after the relationship is what spawned Madison being a full-time cast member. So I think they want the same trajectory. I'm not sure if they'll ever
They
get
don't
there.
have Madison is I'm not like a stan, but she is more of a force.
She's definitely a force. I love the clip they keep showing where Austin goes, "You're a mess. You've always been a mess." She goes, what did she say? I'll rip your balls off.
Yeah. Or
She's
like
just,
your head.
she's fired up.
Yeah.
Who
Okay.
can we
Well,
get
should we?
who can we get? So,
Okay. Yeah,
Golden
maybe
Nugget.
Olivia.
You got to think of like first-time cast members on either a Housewives franchise. Maybe they were a one and done, but they're still going to BravoCon. Like, Noella's not going to BravoCon.
Oh, right. Well, she got mentioned this week.
I know.
on,
It was awesome.
OC.
But we're like really teeing up.
What about like, I know you didn't watch Shaws of Sunset, but like Nima from Shaws of Sunset. He,
I'd flop. I would want to know at least one thing about him, and I don't think
he
I can.
had a Scandival connection.
Whoa.
He, I think, is the one that at Coachella heard that Sandoval said that he's in an open relationship.
Wow.
So
he
that's
heard that.
interesting.
Okay. You could never get anyone from Vanderpump Rules. They're all like
Maybe like an old season $1 million listing agent.
I wish, but I think for my Bravo universe, it'd have to be a Housewives franchise.
Okay, so
or
who's your pick?
under 42s. Well, no, it's fine. I mean, we'll talk about Olivia. I don't know how many people will go to that panel.
What about Quinn from OC?
Quinn?
The big tittied cougar.
Sure.
She was like, I'm Christian and horny. That was her whole thing.
Let me look her up. I remember she seemed like she was on a completely different show from all of them. We've talked about this before.
Yeah.
But she didn't really, they didn't integrate her into
No.
any scenes or whatever.
No.
This was her?
Yeah.
I don't think she's going to be at BravoCon.
Maybe she should come.
We invite her?
We fly her in.
And then
we have a Spirit flight for you. No bags.
You're only going to be there for 30 minutes. I think a Turtle Time hosted sort of unauthorized panel with one of these low-rung Bravo Lebs. Not low-rung, but just not in the zeitgeist right now.
Yeah.
You let us know. Our little turtle cuties, let us know who we should interview, maybe in the alley behind the Golden Nugget.
Martin from Housewives.
Martin?
Beverly Hills.
Yeah, but okay. I was hoping
What was
that
it like in the limo?
he'd be like, I've answered this question 100 times. Please ask me something new. But it has to be. I'm hoping for one of the 100 people that are there, but
Okay.
they're not. They haven't fully, caught fire yet.
Okay.
And we peel them away. We offer them like, what's the best buffet in Las Vegas?
The
Did you
Wynn.
say the Wynn? We offer them a free Wynn buffet. They can eat. We can even do it at the Wynn buffet.
Okay. Well, let's take a break and then we'll look at the Bravo lineup. And when we come back, we'll reveal our pick and then we'll talk about Southern Charm.
Okay, so just we'll answer one question, that lingering thing I said, and then Southern Charm.
Yes.
And this is the order for our little turtle cuties. I don't know if it helps to hear it, but Southern Charm, because it's been a week. But
Yes.
it's perfect timing to watch it because people needed a week to marinate on Southern Charm.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing, people watch it all throughout the week, so I hope you're ready for our Southern Charm take about the first episode. Then we're going to go to Salt Lake City,
Yes.
which was,
It was
rip
good.
roaring.
Yeah.
OC, which, there's a lot to talk about. And then dead last, dog shit, RHONY. So let's think about that, and then let's watch Christopher Robin.
Yes. And
So
then
we'll
we'll be back.
It's like an hour and 45-minute break.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that was a good movie. Ewan McGregor was amazing in it.
So sad.
And I love how they made Winnie the Pooh look and sound like his original self.
Yeah. It was good.
But what the hell was going on with Eeyore? So we thought about it while we were watching that movie, and we thought about the Bravo celebrities that we think we have a chance at interviewing in the alley behind the Golden Nugget for an unsanctioned BravoCon panel. And so here are my three.
Okay.
So I'll give you a chance to
Go
keep
ahead.
looking. So I have my money on this guy, JT Thomas, on Southern Charm. Although we haven't seen him yet, the scenes I have seen of him seem very impactful. So we might be able to get him before the fame starts. If he potentially becomes a celebrated member of that cast, we might get him early. It's like we're
Yeah.
betting on, a stock.
Yeah.
I
That's
think-
what I was thinking, the same thing around Rod.
Okay. So we both have the same intention where let's get them early where they don't know what they're ultimately going to be. So we might be early adopters of Rod and JT from Southern Charm.
Maybe we could get Todd from Atlanta and do a Rod and Todd minute.
Rod from Southern Charm and Todd Tucker from
Yeah.
Atlanta. And it's called the Amy and Riley Turtle Time Presents the Rod and Todd panel.
Yeah.
And
We can make flyers where it's Rod and Todd from The Simpsons, but then people will have to tune in to see who it really is.
so it's like, so people wouldn't, when we announce it's Rod and Todd, would people,
They wouldn't
they wouldn't know which Rod or which Todd? That'd be pretty fun. Okay, so I have that. I have Jennifer Padranti from OC.
Okay.
So she's a first-time housewife. I do have a lot of questions for her.
Yeah.
Especially how she views Tamra after seeing this season play out.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't imagine someone with a lower opinion of Tamra after seeing what she did.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get Jen in the early stages of her potentially, a blossoming housewife career.
Do you think we could get her to bring Ryan?
Yeah. Ryan
They're a package deal.
is doing the panel. If we say you get a full
That
Wynn
goes
buffet,
without saying.
you get a full Wynn buffet, and we get to ask him questions. He can wear the shit out of that garbage merch that he has.
I bet he'd give you a dick pic hat for sure.
You and I are just like decked out in complete dick pic merch after
We
I think
sell
it's
our
like-
souls to the devil.
I think it's like one of the worst things in the world. And then my last one, which I like this, and I think if we wanted Summer House, I feel like we could get Maya Allen, who I
Okay.
legitimately like.
Okay.
But I think she got demoted to friend of this season.
Okay.
And we could just, we could talk to her about anything. I just like Maya.
Okay.
So I think
Good.
we couldn't get, obviously.
I was going to say we could get Chris, but I don't want him.
I'm no offense to Chris. I know you listen, but I no. And we don't even know, is he a full-time cast member? I think he's going
I'm
to
not
only
sure.
pop
I mean,
in
he's going to be at BravoCon.
Right.
I also, when I'm looking through this list, The Real Housewives of Dubai are on here. What's going on with that show? Are they going to do it again?
I think it's canceled, right?
I don't know. Why are they at BravoCon then?
I don't know, but is it taking a big break? You know who we could really get, and we could pay Spirit Airlines and do everything for him?
Who?
Ralph Pittman. Because he wants to go to BravoCon, but he's not allowed probably.
You know, it would be a fun activation at BravoCon would be karaoke, but Ralph sits on a stool in the middle of the room the whole time, and you have to sing at him.
We redo it?
Yeah.
Yes. Would we sing a different song, or would we try to do a karaoke version of Drew's?
Well, that would be the most fun version, but I'm picturing he has to sit there for like 8 hours.
Like we do like Against All Odds?
Yeah, and you can just like rotate in, and he has like a velvet rope around him.
Oh, it's like one of those museums where you're, or what are those called? Like an activity center where people do stuff around you, and he's like sort of just sitting there in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty great. So we have 2 ideas for things we can do at BravoCon.
Yeah.
An unauthorized panel with one of those people we mentioned, and then what's that called? It's like living theater.
Yeah.
Ralph Pittman sits there, and he does the same stare that he did when Drew was singing to him.
Yeah.
But we all sing karaoke to him.
Yeah. It'd be like
How much would we have to pay him?
just the Wynn Buffet and a spot in Chocolate City, the show.
We get him that?
Yeah, somehow. We promise it to him.
Ralph, we've got a great deal for you. Do you have your bag packed? Do you have your bags packed? Oh, actually, can't bring a bag on Spirit Airlines.
Do you think he's allowed to go to BravoCon?
I think he's the perfect person where he had such a presence on this season of Atlanta, but I don't think he would specifically be invited if him and Drew are dating. He's not a Bravo celebrity on his own.
Yeah.
It's like
I would love to know more about the people that go who aren't on the official roster.
Oh, yeah. You know there are people that are just going.
I'm sure.
Like Caroline Manzo's little children.
Yeah. Yeah. Albie.
Albie's going. He's selling that Blackwater still.
Is that still a thing?
Blackwater?
Isn't Blackwater bad? Like,
I mean, did it look bad?
but like, isn't there a different Blackwater that's like bad or something?
I'm sure. I mean, it doesn't seem good. And the whole premise of when they were selling it was like, we have to explain why this isn't horrible. It's like, it's the dumbest idea for a business ever. And then do you remember when Blackwater just infiltrated all of them? Like they all were just wearing Blackwater the entire time.
Was that before the Bethenny clause?
That was before they squeaked right in before the Bethenny clause, and they got to have 100% of that Blackwater profits.
Did you notice that in the beginning of the Southern Charm episode, Austin was wearing his Trop Hop t-shirt?
Yeah.
Do you think that's part of the Bethenny clause?
They took more. They go, Austin, this is barely a business.
Everyone else gets 56%, but you're paying 70%.
Trop Hop for sure Bravo's taking a huge cut. I wanted to ask, he doesn't talk about it anymore. I assume he would have integrated Trop Hop in the first episode if he could. It's not.
He doesn't really talk about it.
He talked about it last season. He's like, we got into, a bunch of stores. It's he's definitely trying the like lover boy.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
strategy.
no lover boy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we dive right in back into Baba D Town?
Let's go to Baba D Town. It felt very good to be watching Southern Charm again.
Yeah.
Just like Salt Lake City, I guess just for us, it's just so good to talk about something new because we've been talking about Atlanta and OC for so long.
It is kind of crazy. Like, so now that all the women on the show are like newer, it really is all about the trio of boys. Like, I feel like we used to have Catherine and Cameron and like more Patricia, and now the women on the show are only there because they were dating the men.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're kind of like anchored to Shep, Austin, and Craig.
Yes. Yeah. Southern Charm is now their show and the aftermath of the things they've done on the show. Now that Catherine was a legacy cast member who had her own universe of what was going on that was not attached to them at all. And then, now it's them. They are the face of the show completely. And we don't have, obviously, T-Rav anymore. Patricia was sick this episode. Maybe she'll bring some alternate energy. I mean, but she really is like her job now is just to provide dinners for those boys.
Right.
You know?
And it's like, I know we have Vanita and Leva was like kind of in it, but they feel a little background, you know?
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I think Leva was definitely demoted or to friend of, or maybe she said, I don't want to be full-time. I've got my own Southern hospitality show, whatever's going on with that. And Vanita's scenes felt like she was on a completely different show. She barely interacts with any of the other cast. They just filmed her getting ready for a long time for this party. And then when she gets to the party, she doesn't really interact at all with the cast members because, I mean, Vanita has never really been friends with any of them except Madison.
Right.
And she burned that bridge last season.
Right.
So, yeah, a big, huge casting shakeup. And I loved Southern Charm for the consistency of the cast for so long. This is probably the biggest shift they've ever had now.
Yeah.
And they're hiring 3 new people.
Right. I just saw on Instagram, Chelsea is very pregnant.
She is?
Yes.
Is she dating that race car guy? Or, I mean, married to that guy that she was starting to...
Is she married?
Oh, okay. Or dating, I mean.
It might be that same guy. I'm not sure. I don't even follow her, but I know that she's still friends with Cameron. And this morning I saw that she posted like maternity photos of her like in a bikini on the beach, and she was like, "I swore I'd never post pictures like this."
I love Chelsea.
Yeah,
she was great on the show.
And her dog recently passed, who was
Really?
on the show. Remember that sweet,
Oh, yeah.
like trucker or whatever his name
Oh,
was,
yeah.
that like was her son.
Oh yeah, very sweet.
I think I cried.
Did you
at
hear
her
the
post.
Did you hear the theory that like once Cameron left, Naomi and Chelsea left in support of her? They left
really?
in solidarity with her.
Wait, say that
So
again.
when Cameron left,
Yeah.
which I'm a little stinker, but I am so glad Cameron is off the show. That's a controversial statement, but she
I
just
like her.
yeah, people like Cameron. She has the veneer of someone that you would like. I totally get why people like Cameron. In my mind, seeing her in very quick succession binging the show, she's on the wrong side of history for almost every single thing that happens on that show. She's really Whitney and Patricia's puppet to a degree. And she's her hatred of Craig, but her love and support for Shep and Whitney is like the most jarring thing I've ever seen in my life. And anyway, I don't want to just completely shit talk Cameron, but I think that when Madison proclaimed that Danny got chlamydia from Shep, it took Southern Charm from Bapa D to Bapa Doo, and I think that was a bridge too far.
Bapa doo-doo.
It was right there. I could have done it. I think that I think someone said, I don't know if this is just whispers and rumors, but I think it got to a degree to which Cameron didn't want to be associated on the show anymore.
I feel like Madison even regretted it the second it came out of her mouth.
She did.
The words weren't even out into the air, and she was like, fuck, 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 fuck.
Exactly. She's the one who took it there. She took it there. She knew something. She heard a rumor, which, no offense to Shep and no offense to Danny. I mean, is it even that horrible? I mean, they treated it like it was the worst thing in the world, but I mean,
that is a humiliating thing to say about like another woman.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to say
HIPAA violation.
Yeah. Okay. You're exactly right. Okay. I'm not going to lend any credence to what Madison said. I didn't think it was that shocking, but there is this unwritten rule that on Bravo, you don't talk about STDs.
Yeah.
We know that from Vanderpump
or
Rules.
Drugs.
Or drugs, except Summer House can talk about Coke. And
that was like that was shocking. Like that was a big deal. Like that was a huge point of contention that Kyle said it out loud.
Yeah, we're getting to the point now where people are what's that called? Pushing the boundaries of what is not sanctioned by Bravo.
But I feel like Kyle, like everyone was like, "Whoa!" Like we don't talk about that. You know?
I mean.
And that was only like one season ago.
Because it is, okay, so drugs are illegal. So obviously accusing someone of doing drugs, it's like it's a legal issue. It was kind of funny when Lisa Rinna accused Dorit and all of them of ripping lines in the bathroom.
She was the pioneer.
Yeah. And then Vanderpump, I think we've talked about this before, but Vanderpump, which is probably a Coke-fueled den anytime you like go in a different
every
room
single episode
of those scenes. And also, I mean, I'm sorry, but probably there is an STD-related huge scandal that happened in the Vanderpump Rules universe. That's, I think, what Stassi was alluding to when she said there's like hero edits on the shows.
Okay.
You know, there's a huge rumor that Jax. Well, I don't even want to say it because people are so don't want to talk about STDs. I get why Bravo doesn't include them, but anyway, I think that that Southern Charm got to a place that Cameron's like, this is not the show I signed up for. And then Naomi and Chelsea left in solidarity with her, and then only Naomi came back for last season.
Okay.
So anyway, but I miss them. I mean, there's so much good cast members on the fringes of Southern Charm that they've like cast to the wayside, that if Southern Charm ever does have a downfall in ratings, like they have a lot of people they could potentially bring back.
Yeah. Does this show do well?
I think so. I mean, the reaction to Southern Charm being back, it's like Vanderpump Rules is back.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of fervor to watch this.
Right. Especially, I didn't realize, so the episode starts kind of with like a montage of the drama about, again, I have a problem keeping these women straight, but it was that Taylor hooked up with Austin, right?
Yes. Yeah. It starts with what is now becoming very traditional for Bravo shows, where it's like this thing happened.
Ripped from the headlines.
Ripped from the headlines, and it's going to entice you the entire season.
Yeah.
And
they made it seem like it was such a massive thing, and to me, I was like, oh, I kind of remember that.
My first question to you, because, it starts out with the rumors that Austin potentially hooked up with Taylor, which is Shep's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, is that big of a deal?
I mean, not to me in general, but the way that they're gearing up at the start of the season, it feels like it is going to be teed up perfectly to be a huge scandal within the friend group,
right?
Which I'm excited to watch, but like before they start building out all of this context and like, you know, manipulating the story for me to be so offended on their behalf, I was like, yeah, I don't really care. Because like they broke up because he cheated on her like a million times.
Yeah. And they also like
whatever, but they've also now said like Austin and Shep traveled the world together, you know, like I think became close after their break. Like they're setting it up where Shep and Austin bonded after their breakups and that their exes bonded after their breakups. So if the two of them cross-pollinate, then it'll be quite dramatic.
It's too shocking. Well, I was thinking when last season, when Naomi revealed horrifically that she was dating Whitney, everyone was like, shut up, Craig. It's not a big deal. And even Craig was not allowed to make even one pip about saying that he found it weird.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, get over it. Naomi's allowed to do whatever she wants. It's Whitney. Whitney's just there.
That was sicko.
Oh my God. And it's like, okay, that wasn't teased. I didn't watch 8 in real time, so I don't know if that was like teased like it was the biggest thing in the world, but that was just treated like nothing. Of course Whitney's is gonna make out with Naomi if he can.
There must be something about him that we're not seeing.
He's a producer on the show.
You think that's why she fucked him?
That is why. No, sorry. No, that is not why Naomi found Whitney attractive. Absolutely not. But
I think he played the national anthem on guitar, like Jimi Hendrix style, and she panty dropped immediately.
If only I knew how the national anthem on guitar would sound, I would have started ripping into it right now. I think, I don't know, it's horrible to say, and you know, I don't want Whitney to stop listening to the podcast, but I do think they don't talk about it, but Whitney is kind of powerful on Southern Charm. This is his show. He's the one who pitched it to Bravo and said, you got to take a look at my friends, T-Rav.
We have to thank him for that.
It's the one good thing he's done in his life. He had all the money in the world. He wastes it on bands and shitty places, and he just travels. He goes to Winston Churchill's grandson's birthday.
Do you think we can get an invite to his LA compound?
Of course. After he listens to this episode, yes. But anyway, so one good thing, yes, he brought to life Southern Charm.
Yeah.
I think, but I do think that they're a little bit of like why Cameron, and I saw Austin kissing Whitney in the.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, there's some attraction to Whitney that I am not seeing. You know what I mean? Like I'm not getting it. And
adrenochrome.
There's some adrenochrome that he must be guzzling.
He has the hookup for that 100%.
He looks great.
And Pat looks great.
Pat looks great. Pat hasn't aged. I just watched the whole thing in succession. I don't think Pat has aged a minute. Either has Whitney. But all this to say, what were we talking about? I was talking about why it's a scandal within the realms of Southern Charm. Also, I think why it's not so impactful to me is that we were just talking about this. I do not remember 1 second of Olivia and Austin actually dating. I remember him showing up to her house wearing those skull crossbone slippers that the dad didn't like. I remember them having a date about how he wanted to take it slow.
Yeah.
And then it was the end of their relationship. And then by the reunion, it had fizzled out completely. And then she was like, "Oh, but then he wanted to pick things up, and then he dropped me like a bad habit 1 week later." It's like this thing never launched.
Right.
It was right. I mean, do you remember that? I mean, I just watched it, but
well, you watched it like straight up,
I know,
like all the way through, and I watched it in real time, and that was my same impression. So
unless I was like looking down at my phone for 1 second and I missed their whole relationship, I guess people could say it happened in the off season and we didn't see it. But
it does seem like though, when the girls got together, when they were rollerblading or whatever, that, and then the way they each had to deal with their ex at the party. Olivia's was like, she was not as mad. She wasn't really mad at Austin. She was kind of like, "Hey, how's it going?" And in her description, she was just saying that dating Austin is like a mind fuck. Like she was like, I felt like I was in like a fun house where I think she just felt like strung along, whereas Taylor's like so pissed at like she like hates him for what he did, you know?
Oh, right. Like that makes complete sense to me. Like Taylor's anger and heartbrokenness in regards to Shep, I'm ready to see all of that. She has every reason to be treating Shep like that and be upset with his friends who might have possibly turned a blind eye to all this cheating.
Right.
Like I think that's all justifiable. I'm just, in terms of the scandal, the Olivia part where it's like Olivia is going to Taylor would have betrayed her friendship with Olivia. I did not see, I don't think Austin and Olivia ever really thought they were good. Like, I don't know, ever dated. Austin doesn't seem like he really wants to date anyone.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
He didn't really care about Chelsea. He started cheating on her, started like doing other things with other people. Madison, he was instantly cheating on her. He had that threesome, or potential threesome.
I love that they had a reason. They always find a reason to roll that beautiful bean footage.
They have showed it.
Madison.
I think 20. Yeah. You're acting crazy right now, I think he says.
Sierra on Winter House.
Right.
He was like,
yeah, he is on the full T-Rav plan. He wants to just enjoy this time.
He should get his shit together. It's
you
like,
think so?
I mean, he's not really like a fun playboy.
No.
Like Shep is.
He's like,
Shep is getting more and more pathetic as the years go on. Like, it's aging poorly. Like, I gave them the benefit of the doubt for a really long time where I was like, they're party boys. Like, you know, it's fun to watch them like act poorly or whatever and like get fucked up and whatever.
Yeah.
But like as the years go on and on and on, you're like, okay, at a certain point you gotta get your shit together.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just kind of depressing at this point.
After binging it, like Shep does have growth. Like he does change and he does become a better person. He was very like almost like not evil, but he was definitely more.
Remember, was it last season when when Taylor like drops the egg in the egg toss? He's like, "You fucking bitch!"
Yes. Then he had blips last season where his jealousy flared up against Craig. You saw that he treats Taylor like shit. Like he hasn't changed fully, but there is some growth there. But I think you're right. I mean, but I just think that Austin is stringing us all along as viewers and stringing potential dates along by saying that this is something he wants when clearly he doesn't.
Right.
He's never had a long-term relationship since he's been on the show since season 5.
Right. I liked him and Chelsea.
Yeah, well, Chelsea's great. I mean,
Which I'm also like, he didn't really date her either.
No, it was another failure to launch thing.
Totally.
You wanna?
Should we just go through?
Yeah.
I just want to say shout out to Paige making like the very first shot of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, Craig is Southern Charm now. I mean, he's the hero of Southern Charm. He's the face of it. It starts with what Craig is doing with his house.
Right. Is that the same house that he punched the wall, or is it a new house?
I forget his house journey.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was the one he punched, but I don't know, that
but
punch
he like
happened
fully redid it. And he's building a pool, and I feel like I'm already a little bit preemptively exhausted about the New York versus Charleston conversation because we've already fully lived it.
Yes.
Completely.
Yeah, and I think that producers are really overhyping the like Paige is disinterested in Craig aspect of this relationship. You know, like they do it on Summer House. It's like kind of like a thing they lean to, which is showing that like Craig is so into Paige, but Paige is really not into him. I don't really think that's the case. I think that she wants her space and she still wants to live in. It's obviously a very hard situation to be in.
Right.
They both have jobs.
Did we talk about that on 9/11? Paige posted a picture. I don't remember if it was the
9/11
towers. A week ago. It was either a photo of the towers or like something like that, and her caption on Instagram was New York or nowhere.
Really?
And I was like, "Fuck you, Charleston." I was like, "She's like NYC for life."
Was it that black and white photo where the two towers look kind of like beautiful?
It was like
aesthetically pleasing photo. New York or nowhere. That is so.
And I was like, "Is that pointed?" She was like, it took the anniversary of 9/11 for her to realize that she can never live anywhere else.
Yeah. I mean, and then Craig admitted that he can do work in New York, but potentially Paige can't do work in Charleston.
Right.
So they're having this rift, and Craig is like, we're really getting to a place where we're struggling. Is that what he says? He's like, we're in a tough spot.
Yeah. He's always like, we've been dating a year. And I feel like he always says that. I'm like, bro, that's not that long.
I know. And it feels like,
can you fucking relax? Like he like skeeves me out. Like not like I get stressed on her behalf. Like I feel like he won't fucking stop.
Like he's going faster than is warranted.
Yeah. It's like, stop asking. Like, you know, like we are not on the same page right now. Like you asking me again is not going to change my mind.
I feel like they're not logistically on the same page, but I do think that it's underrated how much Paige loves Craig at this point.
No, for sure. And it's also hard because he owns that house and he's like building a pool, and obviously that's a dope place to live.
Yeah.
Compared to, I mean, I'm sure she has a nice apartment, but I'm sure it's small.
Right.
So it's like he has the dominant domicile. Like
the dominant domicile. Yeah. The dominant domicile.
But I do get the vibe that he is a little more needy.
Yes. He's on
like a dog with a bone.
He's on a fast track.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's older.
What is he? Is he 39 or 40? My age, 37?
Something like that. Because he was always the youngest.
Yeah.
Boy.
And he was putting the gas to the what's the expression?
Pedal to the metal.
Pedal to the metal on the Naomi relationship. He was about 6 months away from proposing to Naomi. He's wanted to be in a family
right
for a long time, and I think Paige is like that. The New York, I guess, timeline, right? Where you don't.
And she's younger.
And how much younger is she? Younger than me? 37. Mm-hmm. Wow.
I think she's like, I don't even want to know. She might be like 32.
Oh my God, I can't think about that. They reveal that they both drink milk. Did you like that?
Love that.
We've talked about, we're both, we still consider milk as a viable liquid to drink.
Paige is 30 years old.
No!
She was born in 1992.
That is shocking.
Her birthday is the day after BravoCon, November 6th.
We'll celebrate with her.
And Craig is only 34.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry that I put Craig in my own. Oh my God. Craig's so much younger than me. First thing, how old was Paige during 9/11? She was 9.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Well, if her birthday is November 6th.
Oh, right.
Would
she
be...
just turned 9.
Yeah.
No, she didn't. She was 8.
Okay.
Okay. Or anyway, no, there's nothing to say about that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So they both drink milk. Oh, and then Paige says, hey, by the way, I'm not going to be at a few of these events because I'm going back to New York. I have a job there.
Yeah.
And Craig goes, well, obviously, I don't know how much I can visit you. I'm filming a reality show where I'm the main star of it.
Yeah.
And she goes, I don't want you to.
She's like, I didn't ask you, bitch. And he was like, ugh.
Yeah. But that's the part of me that I think Paige is teasing. Remember how she did with Carl where it's like the aloofness? I think she just likes to do that, even though she loves Craig.
Yeah. I mean, sounds like such a pain in the ass to fly back and forth like that. Like, it would be one thing if it was like DC or like something where you could like take a train. That would be chill.
Right.
But having to fly down there all the time.
He does take the train sometimes, Craig.
to Delaware,
Right.
and that's where he
Right.
ran into Andy.
Wait, but you think, I mean, I don't know. At a certain point, I think Bravo celebrities get to the point where playing is just like 1/3 of the things they do every day. You know what I mean?
Sure, I hate going to the airport.
Me too.
Like,
I hate flying more than anything.
blows ass.
But I think that it is now just a part of their lives. Imagine how much they travel.
Sure.
Is it now? Are we talking about the Madison and Brett scene?
Oh yeah, her new house, which looks very nice.
Yeah. Looked at. We got to see that little boy. What's his name? Hudson.
Yeah, playing guns with her new husband. They played a Savage reunion clip where Madison says that her son never liked Austin.
Such a low blow. I think that's awful to say.
Yeah.
Like, even though I know that she was Austin treated her like shit.
Yeah.
It is just so mean to say that a kid didn't like you.
Well, they were like a classic, again, toxic relationship
yeah.
where they both treated each other like shit. Like
Yeah.
they were both going tit for tat all the time. Like
Yes.
she has such control over him, keeps like reeling him back in. Even like inviting him to this wedding party
Right.
thing. I'm like, why would you invite him?
Just for the show.
I mean,
you know?
the only people there are on the show.
Right. It was just
There was no one there.
they got to stop doing that. Well, then the reverse is then you have an open party like the Vanderpump Rules season 11
right.
finale party, and then you get
Where are you
weirdos.
guys?
then you get Peep fans in there throwing glasses to try
Right.
to get on the show. So it's like you can't win. You
Right.
either have a cloistered, closed off all cast event where no one else is there, or you open it to the public and chaos happens.
Right. No, I was like, when they were doing the toast, I looked around and I was like, wait, there were like 13 people there and they're all cast members.
The season 2 finale of Salt Lake City, which I like just watched recently, there was like 8 people there. There was like the cast, the husbands, and like one other person. I was like, well, this doesn't even, you're not even trying to make this look like
Right.
an actual event.
I'm like, so you're telling me they were like, we had a really small wedding in Mexico, just family, like his family and my family. So we wanted to have a party. So you're like, oh shit, like a reception, like that'll be like
Right.
everybody. And it was like smaller than like a barbecue.
Yeah, an after wedding party.
Right.
So they talk about that. Did you think Brett and Hudson playing with those guns in the street was kind of fun?
It was cute, but I have questions. So she said he's a chief firefighter.
He's the chief firefighting. What is it? Yeah, chief firefighter in California.
Does that mean fire chief
The chief of the fire department, I guess.
in California, but he doesn't need to live there?
He does need to live there.
So she said he's home for 3 days, gone for 8 days.
I think he's more maybe like the tactician. Well, I don't know. I have a lot of questions about Brett. I don't know anything about him. This is the first
Yeah.
time seeing him. And Madison and his entire love happened off camera. I
Right.
feel like one season they were dating and we never saw him. The next season, on the off season, they were married. And then now is our first time seeing him. We know nothing about him. And I don't think she really explained him very well.
No, I'm very confused. I'm like, why don't you guys just move to California? Like, what is Madison, obviously, besides the show?
Right. Right. I mean,
Why does
there's-
she need to be in Charleston?
And you would ask, is it possible that his job is transferable
Right.
to Charleston? I don't know. I mean, I just know that Madison is definitely tooting his horn.
Yeah. There was like that back, and this is later, but when Austin's like, I thought that he was going to be some golden god the way that she talks about him. Like, he's like and he's like, he's just a guy. And I was like, well, everybody's just a guy.
I mean, you're just a guy, potentially. I mean, yeah, that was definitely a little bit of jealousy poking through there.
But yeah, very funny that she invited him and that he had to go because it was like the first event.
Right. And Craig goes, now that you got invited, you have to go. You can't be the person that like
Right.
spurns that invite.
He was like, that was actually like a baller chess play on her behalf because
Yeah.
since she invited you, you have to go because then you look like an asshole if you don't go, even though there's no reason that you should be invited.
Yeah. He ultimately does good at the party.
Pretty
Not
good.
to spoil it.
He does some awkward moments, but it was funny.
Yeah.
They bring back Shep and Lil Craig are back in town. I personally think Lil Craig would be better off in Shep's mom's hands. I think maybe just leave him there.
You know, I will not say that like you said it, but I imagine that Shep's parents are taking care of him a lot because Shep has a lifestyle outside of his home.
I was like going to say drinking problem.
I won't say that. But yeah, I like little Craig.
They review his worldly travels. He went to Australia. Austin came with him. Then he went to South Africa. So he's been gone for, they didn't say exactly how long, but it seemed like months.
He's sort of blissed out this episode. He's very, oh God, is it contrite? He seems like he's ready to take his lumps.
Uh-huh.
He knows he got away. He's sort of zenned out from all this travel. He loves traveling the world. He loves being a worldly man. And then when he comes to this party, it seems like he's not fired up. He's ready for the Taylor onslaught. Like he deserves it.
Yeah. The boys go shopping for what Austin's going to wear at this party. And they go to this like very Southern Charm store called 319 Men. And the owner or the, worker at this store is wearing a 3-piece suit and his hair is dyed black. Jet black. And I was just like, this place could only exist there.
Have you been to Charleston?
No, I would love to.
I really want to go.
Yeah.
I think someday.
That whole region. I haven't even been to New Orleans.
Me neither. I mean, I would want to go. I just culturally, because it seems like a place I've never seen before in my life.
Yeah.
I would love to run around there. I would go to
Disneyland is like the closest I've come to experiencing that architecture.
The Florida one. Oh, I'm sorry. The New Orleans style. What is
that, like,
it?
Gothic. It's, I hate to say it, antebellum era.
There's an antebellum section of Disneyland?
Well, yeah. The Haunted Mansion is like literally a plantation. And then New Orleans Square looks like all of the areas like where, like Mardi Gras or like the
French Quarter?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't been to Disneyland in about 10 years, and I don't think I stopped in antebellum land.
You can order gumbo.
That was a really good New Orleans accent. I like that.
I get clam chowder in a bread bowl, though.
Oh, that's awesome.
Instead.
Is Pirates of the Caribbean in near antebellum area? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll go to Charleston someday.
For sure.
Oh, there was a photo of Errol Flynn. Did you like that part?
Yeah, where they equate his lifestyle to Austin's lifestyle.
What'd you think about that?
It was silly, but it was fun. And I was surprised. I was like, of course, I like that Shep was like, the man's like, that's Errol Flynn. And Austin's like, who? And Shep's like, a famous actor. Like, Shep has to like be like the worldly man on earth. Like, he's like, I know Errol Flynn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean,
I like that.
I'm like, it's because you're old, but it's fine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But he does like to have the answer to everything.
And they were like, Austin wikis Errol Flynn. And it's like, he was dating Olivia de Havilland, and he was like a man about town. And I don't know, it was silly, but it was fun.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It was a little off topic, but and yeah, they're like getting dressed, and he's like, I'll be damned if I overthink this, like what I'm gonna wear. And they're like, dog, you already are. And they were kind of like joshing him, and I was like, it's good to have the boys back.
It was fun. I mean, they have such good chemistry with each other.
They go way back.
And it's fun to see a trio of boys.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it on Vanderpump Rules. We've talked about it. Sandoval, Schwartz, and Jax together provide such an interesting dynamic. One's closer friends with one. One's kind of feuding with one. One's jealous of one. But they love each other. They keep it going, this 3-piece set of boys. And then this one is, I'd say, the best trio of boys. Because Jax sort of fell out with his boys. Like, this is a good trio of boys. Summer House, Kyle and Carl have never had a third boy to be their trio. They keep having auditions for a new boy. Garrett flopped like hell.
Oh, yeah.
They both love Garrett, but Garrett, you do not want that in your trio of boys.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Garrett. Then they tried Luke. Luke just didn't fit in. He was not...
Why can't I picture who Garrett is?
Garrett is... Oh, God, did I say it wrong? Lindsay's first love on Summer House. Is that his name? Oh, Gareth? Oh, God. Oh, it's not Garrett.
Garth.
It's Everett. I'm sorry.
I was like, yeah, Garrett. And then I was like scanning my mind. I was like, who the fuck is that?
Oh my God. Garrett. I haven't heard that name in forever. Sorry. Everett. Was he? Please go back and punch in Everett for every time I said it. Everett flopped as a third boy. He was just too odd.
Yeah.
He didn't meet in the
He is
middle.
an oddball.
He is an oddball. I'll say it. He's an odd duck. And then Luke could never be the third boy. I don't know why.
Yeah.
He didn't vibe. Chris tried to be the third boy this
know.
season. Flopped like a fish.
Yeah.
So there's something going on there. They need a third guy to complete this trio of the under 42 trio of boys.
Right. Okay.
What do you think's wrong with Kyle and Carl that they can't get a third in there?
Well, I feel like they have their own issues between the two of them.
I know. That's why you need a third boy to sand the path between the two. Like it's good when you're feuding with one, you get to talk shit about the other.
Yeah.
You get to bounce off. It's a perfect dichotomy.
Who could it be?
I
don't know.
What other there's no more guys on Summer House. Remember this season it was like Chris,
What about
Kyle, and
Andrea?
I think for some reason I don't think Andrea and Carl and Kyle mesh that well.
Yeah. Maybe post breakup things will change
with Carl.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I just wanted to, speculate on that trio of boys and why Kyle and Carl don't have one. But like you said, I liked seeing them shop at 319 men.
For sure. Then the wedding party is at Madison's friend's house, which is a very nice house.
Yeah. I thought this party, we see so many parties in the Bravo universe, but so you almost get desensitized. I thought this one was really nice.
It was nice. Well done. I'm about to reference Sex and the City one more time.
Good.
So when the boys show up and the pianist is playing, is it Shep who says it? He goes, "Know any Billy Joel?" Like they're totally like, it seems like they're maybe already drunk or something. Oh, my cat is screaming. She does not like when the door is closed. He goes, "Know any Billy Joel?" And on Sex and the City season 6, when Carrie is dating Mikhail Baryshnikov, who's like an uptight artist, like iconic Russian artist. She has her friends over because she's been living a separate life, and she finally has her friends over to dinner at his place to try and connect her two worlds.
They say that?
And I think it's Steve. He goes like, there's a piano, and he's like, "You play?" And he's like, "Yes, I do." And he's like, "Know any Billy Joel?" And it's like, he's like, "No." Like, he's just like an asshole. Like, he's like, "I do not know of this." And all the New Yorkers are like, "Hey, come on."
Because they want him to play it?
Like, they're like, "Lighten up."
So
I was like, is that a quote from Sex and the City?
I think so. It reminds me of when David Foster played Camptown Races for everyone in Beverly Hills, and Taylor was going, "Sing a song we know." Or you remember? And she
Oh my
was
gosh,
drunk
I
as
just
hell.
watched a TikTok about this where it reminded me that he then played like an Irish funeral song when her husband like had just killed himself like a month before. And they were like, "Please stop."
You know why, though?
To be a dick.
No, they couldn't play any copywritten music, so he couldn't play any
Happy
song.
Birthday.
They had to play Happy Birthday.
Danny Boy.
And Camptown Races, sing this song, doo-dah.
And then when the women were like, "Doo-dah," he was like, "You shut your fucking mouth in my house."
Yolanda goes, "This is a privilege to hear my evil, maniacal husband play Camptown Races."
And Taylor was like,
Yeah. Oh my God. Taylor was not to
it made me
spoil.
want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's like so much noise action happening today, but I wanted to leave the window open because we're getting this wonderful breeze.
It feels like we're in New Orleans or Charleston. I don't know what the weather's like there, but it kind of feels like Charlestonian out there.
Do you think that we're out of the heat zone for the year?
I have so many things to say about summer. First of all, I blew my summer completely. I don't even remember 1 second of it. I'm so glad we're entering the best time of the year. This is my favorite time.
Okay.
The next 3 months
Great.
are October, November, December. I mean, we wait our whole year for this time, in my
Great.
opinion. I do.
Great.
So anyway, I think I remember October's being horrifically hot in the past.
Yeah.
But I don't know, with this new weather, maybe we just have horrible heat in the summer now, like 110 heat for a really long time, and then we get a nice fall.
I feel like it didn't. I mean, I know it's a little hotter because you're a little further east, but this year wasn't as bad as it has been before.
Damn. Don't tell. Well, okay. Yeah, you're right. I have Pasadena brain, which is like 10 degrees hotter, so it got hot as hell. But I don't know. I mean, I have to look at the calendar. I mean, Octobers have been traditionally hot, and if we get past October with not heat, I think we're in the clear.
Totally.
6 months of winter.
Remember how long it rained last year? Anyways, this is not the weather minute.
What were we saying? Sorry, but we were on a good tangent. David Foster,
Billy
Camptown
Joel.
Races. Oh, I just wanted to say that Taylor, now looking back at how belligerent she was when David Foster was playing and how evil I think David Foster is, that was a win for Taylor.
Yeah.
And this OC, not to spoil it and step on it, but Taylor was a shining star.
Yeah.
She
was nice and like normal.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Austin gives a gift to Madison and her husband, and he's like, makes an awkward joke where he's like, don't shake it, implying that it's a bomb, which is funny, but I was like, I don't know if that's the best icebreaker.
He said, if you hear it ticking.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, he goes, don't shake it, to imply exactly what it is, that it's like champagne or something, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But then he goes, but then he says, and if you hear it ticking, ... and they all laugh. I love humor like that. I love that he is bringing up that this is an awkward moment.
Yeah.
And the idea of him presenting a bomb to them to blow them up at their after wedding party was really funny.
Yeah.
And he did another awkward joke too. I'll just say it now. He did a
the toast.
Yeah, Madison starts to give a toast, and then Austin, which is very brave of him.
Yeah.
I thought it was very brave. He goes, and I'd also like to say a few words, and then everybody stops.
They're like, well, let's hear it.
Right. Then
he's like, no, I'm just kidding. And then they're like, do it.
Yeah, but
seriously, do it.
It was good. He really laid into the awkwardness, and he did a good job. I felt like he was genuinely awkward. I mean, this is actually the most awkward party. Just to talk about it. I mean, everyone is just exes. It's
totally
hosted by the ex of Austin, and he also has another ex that's there. And then Taylor's there. It's the first time she's seeing Shep.
Yeah, and I feel like Taylor and Olivia showed up a little wasted.
Yes.
Like to start.
I
So
think
it was
so.
already off to a shaky start. Also, the part that made me like cringe of just like the ultimate like awkward ex thing was that they were talking about their honeymoon and that they went to Singapore, and Austin was like, you've always wanted to go to Singapore. And it's like, don't talk about what she told you before.
That's right. That struck me in all of the awkward notes that I liked. That's the one you don't do. You don't
You're
say
like, I remember.
You don't say you've always wanted to visit Paris or whatever. You don't ever call your relationship to attention with the new significant
You're like,
other.
we go way back. I actually already knew that about you.
Oh,
because
you always wanted to go to Singapore. Yeah, I felt like that landed a little flat. And then he kind of was funny again. He was like, I want to do the exact same honeymoon as you guys. And then he was like, so mail me the itinerary.
I also love that. So I'm like, oh, Singapore, like that's kind of interesting. Like that's like, cool that she went there. And then he reveals that she wanted to go there because of Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, right. That was funny.
And I was like, all right, docked back down to being basic.
It was a doc, but I always love cultural references because these shows are sort of caught in amber a little bit, and you don't know when they ever happen. But I do like specific cultural.
You're like, oh, I guess that's when you guys were dating, was when Crazy Rich Asians came
or when
out.
Stassi talks about Game of Thrones. Like
Oh,
you can watch the full trajectory of Game of Thrones through Stassi talking about it on Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah. Leva pops in.
Leva
doesn't really say much.
Leva goes, I'm a friend of now.
Yeah. Which also, I know you just watched it all the way through, but she looks so different than she used to, don't you think? Like she's been like glamazoned, yassified.
Yeah, I don't know. I to be honest,
she looks good, but
yeah, I didn't pay attention to any of her scenes. So I don't remember what she looks like.
Because she was like low key on season 1.
She was Cameron's friend, legitimate friend, and she
was
always
pregnant,
owned
right?
Republic, I think.
Oh, really?
Or
Okay.
yeah, because they go to Republic in the first season. Anyway,
Okay.
I mean, I think whoever made that decision, that was a good decision. Leva in small doses. Let her rule over Southern hospitality.
We're never gonna watch that, are we?
If something, I do love the Charleston aesthetic, and I like the cultural stuff. So
I just never hear anyone talk about it. Like
neither.
if it kept bubbling to the top, I'd be like, okay, fine, like I'll watch it. Like,
well, do you remember how they keep alluding to the fact that Shep kissed one of her employees and he had to be
right.
like shoved
Restrained.
down and restrained? Craig goes, I almost threw him through a goddamn wall.
oh right.
If I saw that and you were getting run off of Shep trying to kiss Leva's employees, like I'd be potentially interested.
Sure.
I just think all of these shows live or die by their cast. The concept is not going to sway me. Like
Right.
I don't need another Vanderpump Rules if the cast sucks completely. So I
Right.
just have to maybe see if the cast starts to like make a spark.
Right.
If they were smart, well, Bravo's smart. Sorry, don't let me not say that. bring a couple of those people from Southern Hospitality to do little friend of cameos
Right.
on Southern Charm. Don't give them too much spotlight,
Yeah.
but maybe say, hey, this is Billy. He
Right.
works at Republic, and then maybe Billy does something kind of interesting on Southern Charm within that
Yeah.
universe. Then to be like, oh, I want to see what Billy's doing.
Yeah, I don't feel like they. I don't know if I'm rewriting history because I feel like at the time I thought they were pushing it too much, but in retrospect, I'm like, did they really push it? Like, were they on Watch What Happens Live? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Well,
Like, I feel like only Leva was representing, not the cast. So
Yeah. Well, I don't 100% understand how Leva, who didn't have any impact on Southern Charm,
Got a spinoff?
Got a spinoff.
yeah. Taylor gifts Madison a dildo, which seemed out of character.
It seemed Madison calls it out of character. I do think it is out of character. I think it is indicative of Taylor's new I'm on my own. I'm a part of the Bravo universe, and we are open about sex. And I don't know. She thought that was like the right place to give a potential, a gag gift.
Yeah, it was
And
weird.
Madison didn't like it. That was like the one thing that offended Madison more than anything that anyone did.
She was like, I'm a lady.
I think Brett doesn't like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. She gives a vibe of like she not to a problematic degree, but like kind of she wants to be on her best behavior for him a little bit.
That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah. Shep has an awkward moment with Taylor at the bar. She says she's been in Europe. He's like, where? She says London and Paris. And she said that she liked London better. And he was like, because of the language barrier. He was like, I know during our travels, you always had a problem with the language barrier. And she was like, not really.
Yeah. It was just as awkward. I mean, it was like, I loved these awkward conversations because they felt real. It was
Right.
like, wow, is this really the first time Shep is talking to Taylor? And
Yeah.
you can't fake that. You
Yeah.
can't fake how uncomfortable that small talk is with your ex.
Yeah. Then he like goes and like sits alone. He was like, wow, like she's completely different now. He called her like combative and like said that she was like demeaning to him or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, she was so hurt at the reunion last season that I think he still is holding a grudge for some of the things she said. I forget all the things she said. I mean, she just called herself like, I was your whore and you were cheating on me the entire time.
She's like, I'm the whore that stuck around
You're
or
a
whatever.
completely fucked up person. Like, I mean, rightfully,
She let it
she's
rip.
Vengeful. Yeah, she let it rip.
Yeah. And then Austin and Olivia have a convo. It's awkward, but not quite as awkward. It's kind of like, whatever. Like, okay, bye.
I think they know that, like we said, what was this? How much are we giving to this relationship that we really never saw?
Right. But Taylor now is looking for her target. She's like, I'm fucking drunk and I'm going to rail on somebody about everything that's happened. So she's like going off at Austin about Shep cheating, that like he must have known. And then she's like pointing at Craig and she's like, Craig knew, he didn't tell me. And like Craig's across the room. And like every time that like Craig or Shep or anyone like laughs that like this is crazy, she's like, yeah, laugh it up, like they're laughing over there. And I'm like, there's like 10 people at this party, like they're right there.
And yeah, as this fight starts to erupt where Taylor starts to get upset, everyone is watching the action of Austin
there's like
and Craig.
a semicircle, and then they zoom in on Austin rubbing her arm, which is like, I feel like they're going to give us so much foreshadowing. Like, they're just being like overtly obvious about it.
Yeah. So Taylor says that, and I believe that she is legitimately hurt about this. First, she's hurt that Craig never reached out to her and never like was supportive of her and fully, because he's Shep's friend. He was with Shep throughout this thing and he never even checked in on her. So she feels sad that he wasn't there to like comfort her at all during this time, and Austin was, she says. But then
because he was probably trying to fuck her.
Damn. Yeah.
I'm just like, at a certain point, I'm like, you don't have a long history with Craig. Like, I'm a little bit, Craig gets like bent out of shape on this, and he needs to like learn how to deal with people yelling at him without getting so pissed off.
I loved it.
But like, what does he owe her? Like,
no, he doesn't.
He's right in that he's like, I'm the one that tried to stop him. Like, what more could I do for you?
But it's perfect conflict for me because I I understand what Taylor is saying. I would feel horrible if I was left by Shep in the lurch, cheated on, and thrown to the garbage, and then someone who's a cast member on a show with you and also you considered sort of a friend while you were dating Shep for 2 years just never reaches out to you. I would feel spurned by that too.
Sure.
So I felt her emotional reaction. I felt like it was justified. Felt like she Craig says it eloquently. It's like, I'm the wrong target. You're mad at him. You're not mad at me.
Yeah.
And I was fine with Craig's reaction to it too, because in his mind, he's like, I stopped him from cheating.
Yeah.
I don't laugh about Shep cheating. Craig has never advocated cheating. I don't think he's ever cheated on anyone.
Yeah.
He knows Shep is a cheater, a drunkard. He tried to stop it.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But like, he just always, like, it's so easy to fire him up.
Yes.
Like, it immediately goes to him being like, screw you. Like, I didn't cheat on you. And I'm like, dog, like, you know why she's upset. Like, just be like, I get it. Like, I hear you. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I thought I did the right thing. And like, I had to stand by my friend because like, we have like a 10-year history. Like, I don't really know you like that. Like,
yes.
I know you through him. So like, whatever. But instead he's like, fuck you. Like, he gets so pissed off.
Yeah. And he says, I should have let Shep cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was pretty, what's that called? He was pretty hard-hearted towards Taylor.
Yeah.
He was also saying, Shep, don't let her bring up cheating anymore. Say the relationship is over. What does it matter now? I don't give a shit anymore. Yeah. So he didn't have a great reaction to Taylor, but I also just think that he's known Shep for 10 years, and Taylor was a blip in the lifetime of Shep, and he's more partial to Shep.
I also loved the moment when Austin and Shep want to leave so bad.
Yes.
And Craig's just like chatting it up with his like beer.
Yeah.
And he's just talking
He has
to
a full
everybody. Like, he has no intentions of leaving. Like, he would be there 3 more hours. And they're like, the clock's ticking. Like,
Yes.
let's fucking go. Like,
Right.
I'm not joking. Like, we want to leave. We wanted to leave 30 minutes ago. Like, please.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'll be on it. And he's talking to
Craig just wants to talk.
Olivia about how Paige wants to feel included in the group. And they're like, does she even like us? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of an interesting.
And I mean, I was imagining, I was like, would Paige like Taylor and Olivia? Like, would she be close with them?
I think it's a struggle. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Then Taylor lets off one last barb towards Craig. Once Craig says, screw you.
Yeah.
And Taylor says, what about your girl cheating on you?
Oh, right. She just kind of like flew that out. And people are like, no. Like,
That's
don't
a no.
say
Stop.
that.
And and then Craig goes, you're embarrassing yourself. He leaves.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, I think she was just throwing shit at the wall.
Right.
I don't think Paige ever would cheat on Craig. And if she's talking about something, it's possibly the overlap with Andrea, where she had sex with Andrea like one more time before she locked it down with Craig. And that's what Taylor's bringing up. But I don't think there's a lot of foundation to that cheating rumor at all.
No, it didn't like excite me. I was like, eh.
Yeah, it just flopped. But it was good. I mean, the episode was slow because we were like getting back into the lives of everyone. But then the last 15 or 20 minutes at Madison's party were so good. Like quintessential Southern charm.
Yeah, and the coming this season looked action-packed.
Amazing. Do you mind if we take one quick break before we get into Salt Lake City?
I would love to.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. Thank you for obliging that break.
Yes.
Someone was calling me.
Yeah. Don't they know what we're up to over here?
For some reason, I never get any phone calls, so I've never had to tell anybody besides my wife where I am for 3 hours every Thursday. But I got a rare 2 phone calls from the same person, which is like, no one
Emergency.
ever does that.
911. All right. Should we dive into Salt Lake City? All tricks, no trust?
All tricks, no trust. Yeah, let's dive in to Salt Lake City. Just generally, did you love that start of Southern Charm? Did you think that was a good premiere?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I just wanted to get that on the record.
It was weird because I waited to watch it until last night. I started watching it last week when I got home from drinking, and so I was like, I need to rewatch that. But for some reason I was putting it off because I was like, I don't know why.
Savoring it?
And then when I watched it, I was like, we're back, baby.
It sparked joy.
Yeah.
That's how I felt too. We're back, baby. Speaking of being back, Salt Lake City is so back that I'm kind of stunned at how good this season is for the first 3 episodes. Did you like this episode? I don't want to rhapsodize about it.
weird because when I first started watching it, I was like, here we go again. Like, it was like at Trixie Motel. Like, I was
Yes.
kind of like, whatever. And then by the end, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, did we just have like an iconic
Yes.
moment?
Yes. So even though there are so many goddamn tropes, cliches that we've seen so many times on every different franchise, for some reason this subverted all of those tropes and was still amazing.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if it's just, I don't want to say freshness because that's what people say about RHONY, but I think it's just great to talk about a new show. But also, I don't think usually it takes a little while for Housewives seasons to like get off the ground. And for some reason, this one, I mean, I love the premiere. Second episode was good.
Yeah.
And then this one was like, God damn, knocked it out of the park.
No, this one was like, I have to say, it's hard to come by these moments anymore, but it felt like a quotable, like, pantheon dinner.
Yeah. Chaos was unleashed a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you got someone who slips into a British accent and asks a waiter to take someone from the table away, like call security on someone who's sitting at the table with you.
And a full-blown vomit.
And a vomit.
It looked like, I couldn't tell what was going on, but there was such a steady stream of liquid, it kind of looked like she was also pissing.
Yeah, I mean, I wish, I guess they had to close the door, obviously, for privacy or whatever. I wish that there wasn't any doubt in my mind that this fully happened. There's no doubt in your mind that she fully upchucked.
If she was my friend, I would have dragged her off. I'd be like, I'm not paying that
I know.
deposit, girl.
I know.
I would
was
have shoved her off.
I was like, go outside of the Trixie Motel where millions of people have probably barfed outside of it.
Including me, I'm sure.
Right, yeah. I barf all the time outside in Palm Springs. She wanted to be in the van when she barfed.
Well, she was struggling for so long
Yes.
in the back where I'm like, who didn't have the forethought? When I see a friend like that, I'm like, let's fucking go. Like, I see
gonna
what you're
barf.
about to do.
Totally. She had barf energy. Like, she was filled up to the brim
For
with
like
barf.
half an hour.
Yeah. They should have known she was going to barf. And I think she legitimately had 5 espresso martinis. That could make anyone barf. Coffee.
I don't even want to think about it. Ugh.
I would have one, though, right now.
Sure.
you
One is good.
Do you want to take a break? No, okay.
Be right back. I'm like, I actually have vodka in this Starbucks right here.
We don't drink anymore during our podcast recordings. It's not.
We'll come back around.
Yeah, let's do it. When the winter comes, we can have like mead.
Toddies.
Could you imagine?
I did like, this is jumping ahead, but Heather seemed to be like completely like comatose in the back with her head in her hands.
Yes.
And then when Mary is accusing Whitney of calling her, what did she say? She said,
Pornography.
you called me pornography. And then she's like, no, she's like, Heather, what did she say? And she comes back from the dead. She's like, predator.
It was so amazing that
I
she
was
was
like,
able to.
LOL,
Yeah.
she's like still with us.
Yeah, that was awesome. So this episode was like, it's kind of split into 2 activities, right? I mean, it was like, first of all, everyone has to react to Angie K
Right.
being on the trip. Meredith doesn't give her anything. She just like fully ignores her, right?
Right. Mary says, who is Angie?
Yeah, that was great. So they have a little like Trixie Motel just lounging by the pool, but really it's all just people reacting to Angie K being there, right?
Yeah. Meredith ignores her when she's handing out the gifts.
Right.
Whatever. Then they're going to go into pairs for shopping. It's this whole contrived thing where it's like, dress up the person you're paired with in what you think they would want to wear.
Very, very contrived.
For sure.
Like the most contrived event you could ever have.
Yeah.
Like it has a theme. You know what I mean? It's like it's not
But
something
I love that they
no-
just all looked like total shit. Like they were the most like ragtag group, but by the time they were all dressed, where you're like, if you saw those women walking down the street, you'd be like, what the fuck?
So who do you think who do you think? I have my idea of who won. Who do you think won this game?
Like who dressed the best?
Yeah, who like we can go through, but like I have a clear winner.
Okay.
Who in your mind? I wanted to ask you, who did you think won this game of trust outfit picking?
Okay. I'm trying to go through in my mind of who wore what.
Okay, I got it because I
Okay.
watched this episode 100 times, 3 times. Heather got, I think, one of the best outfits. It was a flame, like motorcycle jacket, leather jacket with a hat, a bedazzled hat that I think said "Cat Daddy" or something like that. Meredith had the most inoffensive or whatever, like unremarkable outfit. It was just like a yellow
Sundress,
dress.
yeah.
I think Lisa was actually playing fair and gave her something easy. Lisa wore a sheer. I'm so bad at outfits, so I don't know. You can correct me, but with a coin skirt, a silver coin skirt.
Yeah.
And then we're just describing outfits that everyone saw. And then Mary and Monica, I'll just say up front, I think they did the best job. They knocked the trust exercise out of the park.
Yeah.
Mary had she says citron like jacket, like kind of
it did fit her nicely.
Huh?
It fit her nicely.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And then Monica wore this like. Also, I don't know if it was bedazzled, but it had sparkles and it was a full like blazer suit outfit or something. Anyway, Monica loved it.
Well, they were just like not really like joking. Like they were just like, what should we wear?
No, they treated it like it was very like they were very respectful of the game. And
Yeah,
I actually thought Mary and Monica had a little bit of chemistry. I was like, what a test to Monica. Mary hates everyone.
Yeah.
And she actually had a little bit of fun with Monica.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
true.
that was a good initiation for Monica.
For sure. And then Heather made Whitney wear like an insane like horse races / royal wedding hat.
Yeah.
Like it was the most ragtag group. And then Angie was like, I'm representing a Grecian look. And I'm like, we can't keep talking about how you're Greek. Like that's
Enough.
not that interesting.
Yeah, please.
Like
Enough.
this is not my big fat Greek wedding 3.
Also, it's kind of sad that she had to like call herself out. She was like, and now introducing Angie. And do you want to know why I picked out my outfit? Everyone's like, no.
But like, who cares? Bye. And then Lisa is still upset about her ring. I mean, to be fair, it's the same day. But,
Right.
And then she's all pissed off that she has to wear this garbage outfit to this 5-star restaurant. And she's like, my shopper in Milan prepared for this trip.
Right.
And I'm like, you needed a shopper in Milan to prepare you for a trip to Palm Springs? Like, is she always like that? I feel like is historically her thing that she's that bougie.
I think almost every housewife now, to a degree, is that thoughtful in what they pick out for what they wear.
Sure, but I feel like they're with the ring and then like this, and there's just like a few things
her
where they're
wealth.
making it like a thing that she's so bougie.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm like,
just-
I thought her thing was that she loves like gas station soda.
Yeah, you're right. I just watched the whole thing. I can't really think of a lot of instances where Lisa was really showing off her wealth and was that flashy with her wealth.
Like
But I
they're
think-
trying to paint that picture right now, maybe just for the storyline.
No, I
but-
think it's the coincidence of two very wealthy indicators happening at the same time. Like we wouldn't have known she had a $60,000 ring had she not
lost it.
had to reference it. And then also she didn't want to be wearing that garbage that Meredith put her in.
Right.
I think Meredith did Lisa the dirtiest and Heather did Whitney the dirtiest.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So then they sit down for dinner. There's a moment of heat lamp drama.
Yeah.
But luckily it doesn't
I've been
really
to
persist.
that restaurant, just so you know.
What's it called?
Copley's. Cary Grant's former Palm Springs home.
I feel like there's a potential that I've been there. I need to look into it.
It's one of the, I think, go-to restaurants, 5-star. I didn't remember it was 5-star. I can't believe it. But yeah, I went there. But it's a prominent restaurant there in Palm Springs. It was New Year's Eve. I went there, and it was a like a dinner where they have a fully prepared like $100.
That's always how it is on New Year's.
They say, I didn't want to say this because I didn't want to talk about stuff before Halloween, but they say Cary Grant's ghost haunts Copley's.
Archibald Leach.
Is that his name in?
That's his real name.
It is? Yeah. Archibald Leach?
Heinous name.
You said Leach? How do you spell that? Lei?
I think like the bug.
Wait, I love the name Archibald. But then they undercut it. Well, sorry, apologies to our listeners who have the last name Leach. I know there's a couple Villa Rosa VIPs who have that last name. It's not a movie star.
No.
Cary Grant's name is Archibald Leach?
Strike me down, God, if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
So is that why he screams, my name isn't Archibald Leach at Copley's?
With chains clanging.
I was going to say he talks like His Girl Friday, like fast talking sort of newspaper stuff as a ghost.
He's one of the goats.
I only have seen him in His Girl Friday, and I didn't really like that movie.
That's the only Cary Grant movie you've seen?
Yeah, I didn't like his energy.
You haven't seen North by Northwest?
No.
I think you'd
Is he
like
good
it.
in that?
Yeah.
If maybe he switched his demeanor, you can't remark on an actor from just one performance.
He's
But
hot. He has Mr. Big energy. I'm going to keep referencing Sex and the City
He
as
has
often as
Mr. Big
possible.
energy in what way?
He just like, I feel like Mr. Big's archetype of like how he looks
Oh, is like Cary
like
Grant
that.
esque.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Okay, so they all get served espresso martinis. There's a lot on the table.
and this meal gets the like 30-minute treatment. I mean, it's the shopping and it's this meal. We see every minute of this meal.
Yeah. Did you notice? I think Whitney asked if she can get tequila in her espresso martini. This is the second time this has happened on Housewives.
Oh, who else did that?
Jessel.
When did Jessel do that?
At the dinner where Uba steals the can of coconut milk.
Oh God! I was just gonna say that this is the barometer or whatever the word is for how entertaining a dinner can be and how horrifically boring a dinner can be.
I hate to say it, I don't want to be toxic, but binge drinking really helps lube it up.
It did. Okay. So definitely the hallmarks of this episode are that Meredith got drunk as hell, the drunkest we've ever seen her, and Heather got drunk as hell, but it's still not everyone needed to be that drunk for it to pop off.
Yeah.
Just sparsely.
RHONY doesn't have a single
drunkard
at all.
Is Jessel the closest to a drunkard?
When?
None of them, I'll say it, I'm planting my flag. None of them have been drunk on RHONY.
It's a problem.
It's a problem. Get drunk, as we say this as a...
At least one of you once.
I'd like to see one of them once.
Come on.
Well, they haven't... Why can't you? I think it's because they all are so nervous.
Heeded Bethenny's warning.
They heeded her warning. They don't want to do anything, that they'll have to regret. But also they are nervous on camera and they don't want to have anything out of their control happen.
I can tell.
I can tell too.
Okay. Meredith, they do our favorite thing, a dinner game.
Not one dinner game, but 2 dinner games.
Yeah.
Whitney, please, you cannot do one dinner game anymore. We need a full stop on all dinner games. But 2, that was stretching the limits of how many games you can play at a dinner.
Yeah, and the information was like all garbage for the most part, except... Like, Meredith's like, I came to Palm Springs in childhood. Who cares? Whitney's like, I have always written poems. Who cares? Heather's like, I've gotten really into birds since COVID. Who cares? But Mary reveals, I was interested in that she had an African gray bird, which isn't that what T'Challa was in Potomac? R.I.P. I don't know if you made it that far, but one of the Potomac women had a bird named T'Challa who sadly passed. Oh. But I think he was an African gray.
Oh, no,
parrot.
I didn't know that. But yeah, exactly like you said, I really, really cherished Mary's moment talking about this African gray.
But I didn't like how she's like, I had an African gray. I was like, what did you do with him? They should live a really long time. Like,
I meant to look up what they look like because I had never even heard of that type. They are.
Yeah.
But I like that she said that it required her to stare at him.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the footage of Mary in her house with this African gray bird and she feels like this bird is calling to her to stare at him or it? Let me see. Oh, they're beautiful. They're like a gray parrot.
It is a parrot, yeah.
It's part of the parrot family?
Yeah.
How do you think do you think that parrot, that African gray parrot said, look at me? Because they talk.
Mary,
look at me. Stare at me.
Where's your grandpa?
Because parrots talk.
Where's your step grandpa?
It sounded very, like it was everyone else, like you said, had dud stories that you don't want to parse further, but I could definitely hear a little more about Mary's adventures with her African gray parrot.
I would love to know. Angie's tidbit was that she's a sensitive person. I was like, I don't fucking care.
Angie even prefaced it even worse. She said, I know you all think I'm a badass. And everyone's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Not really.
Who's ever seen her have one instance of being a badass? We don't know anything about her.
No. Lisa's is that she got a second ear piercing. It's like, also, who cares? And then, thank God, by the time we got to Monica, she was like, y'all fucking suck. She was like, I'm here to bring it. I fucked my brother-in-law for 18 months.
Yep.
And I love that she always includes the timeline. Like, she always says, for 18 months.
Yeah, it's not 2 years. It's not 1 year.
And I love that people don't really give her shit for it.
No.
In comparison to the Jen situation happening on OC, I'm like, in another city, that would be like, we'll never let you in our circle. You're disgusting.
You're right. Imagine if Gina had that information on OC.
Yeah.
She would have taken it to the goddamn grave.
Yeah, and Vicky would be like, "You're terrible. You're terrible."
Exactly. I mean, Gina would have run with it. She wouldn't have kept it a secret until she died. She would have ran with it to the hills. Anyone would have. That's what I was saying. Heather did such a good job when she learned that information that she didn't throw that out to all of them. Monica had to bring it up herself.
Yeah, for sure. And then it goes into a little bit about how Heather doesn't trust Angie.
Yeah, so then Whitney transitions. She goes, that game was a complete fucking flop. Let's do another game. It's called Peach Pit, except I'm going to label it something different. It's called Warm and Fuzzy versus Prickly Pear.
Something like that.
Prickly Pit. And they go around and Heather says, my Warm and Fuzzy is that we are Ole Titans. Was that a reference to their high school that they went to?
Oh, I guess.
I think she was reminiscing on the times when her and Angie had like camaraderie in high school.
Yeah.
But then she says her pit is that she doesn't really trust Angie.
Yeah.
And then she gives I thought, good evidence of why she shouldn't trust Angie. She was all up Jen's ass. Then she's all up Lisa's ass. Mm-hmm. Now she's all up Whitney's ass.
Yeah, she said she doesn't trust girls that suck the biggest dick in the room. And I was like, you didn't have to say it like that, but okay.
I mean, even though this game, just like the dressing each other, was so contrived, ultimately I liked that Heather took the prompt and legitimately said something that I think she really feels. Heather's pretty genuine.
Yeah.
Heather's pretty authentic. I understand why she doesn't trust Angie, and I like that she used that opportunity to say it. It was like the best case scenario for one of those dumb dinner games.
For sure.
And then that starts the snowball spiraling for Angie to explain herself and what she's doing with the cast and why she came on the trip. Like, she uses this to now get in a huge fight with Meredith.
Yeah. Quickly, Monica says that she's annoyed by Lisa talking about her $60,000 ring.
Right.
And she's like, I only have like $100 ring. And Lisa's like, I worked hard for that blessing. And it was just kind of like, Lisa was kind of like, I get it. Like, whatever, fine, move on. I also saw some people online questioning whether or not Monica's bag that she cried about was even real.
I know, I saw
They said
that too.
that the chain was looking a little brassy for Louis Vuitton, which would be interesting if that was true. They also pointed out that she does drive a Range Rover.
Yeah.
But that could be left over from her marriage.
Well, when she said bought a bag, I think it's still it's more a part of her story that she couldn't even afford a real one and she bought a fake one to try to, blend in.
Like Jen on OC.
Right.
Yeah.
Poor Jen. I can't believe Tamra said that.
Rude. Okay. And then Angie strikes again and says, Greeks love to toast. Let me do a toast. I'm like, Greeks love to toast? Like, that's culturally specific.
Greeks love to toast. we know this.
This is always Jimmy's big pet peeve is when Italians or any culture is like, I'm Italian, I'm all about family. And it's like, aren't most people about their family?
As opposed to all other people. Yeah. So this Angie, I want to say a couple negatives, because overall this episode was amazing. First of all, Monica, even though she's a shining star and killing it right now, her antagonism towards Angie felt unfounded. I know Angie's flopping like a fish, but I didn't think Monica needed to be the one to rush to criticize her, and she takes 3 opportunities to do that. She's the one who says, Angie, no one thought you were a badass. She's the one who said, Angie, you're being rude to the hostess.
Yeah.
And she says something else, she is continuing a trope I hate, which is that the new cast members, whenever they're hired and they're new and it's their first season, they feel like they have to fight each other because they can't fight anyone else. And they feel like it's a trial for who's going to survive.
Right.
And instead of just letting an organic friendship happen or being authentic, I felt like Monica was playing into that trope, which was unfortunate.
For sure. And then
Angie says that, sorry, I interrupted, but Angie then, in a totally fake, prepared way, says, I want to toast to a Greek word that I just looked up, to a word of the day. You know how obviously I have a Greek word of the day calendar, and it just so happens that seppuku, or what was the Greek word?
I didn't write it down, but it means fake, Riley.
It means fake. Oh my God. Could you imagine the coincidence of her looking at the Greek word of the day and it has that and it says fake in it? So then Angie uses this opportunity to talk about how Meredith has been one way to her face and that there's no reason why Meredith wouldn't have invited her on this trip, right?
Yeah.
And then Meredith says, why would I invite you on this trip?
Yeah.
You have expressed, the last time I saw you, we were in a fight at the reunion. They show a clip of that. You've expressed, Meredith says that Angie's expressed that she'll never be good friends with Meredith, but there's no receipts, there's no evidence of this. But I think it's just a matter of Meredith is treating this trip like it's a real friend thing that she's bringing, and she would have never considered Angie. And then production through Whitney is bringing Angie for the drama of it, you know?
Yeah.
And so I don't know which side to fall on, really, because it's like you shouldn't really snub out a cast member if Angie's a full-time cast member. She gets to go on the trips.
Right.
But also if Meredith's inviting her real friends, and maybe at this point Angie wasn't full-time cast. Maybe she was just a friend of, and they were still debating that. So Meredith, you know, it was fine that she got outraged as well.
For sure. I think at one point Angie accuses Meredith of renting her life. She makes a comment that she has cobwebs on her jewelry, which I didn't really know what that meant.
So they are, a lot of people are now saying that Meredith doesn't live in Salt Lake City and she rents a house every time they film, and she actually lives somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess she's accusing her of not having any money, right? Her jewelry would have,
Cobwebs on it. I was picturing, you know how that trope of like haunted houses or whatever, that there's sheets on the furniture.
Yeah.
I was picturing that.
Me too. I thought I understood this. Jewelry that has cobwebs and dust, everything about you is fake. Also, that's something that she clearly prepared to say. I don't know why she thought that would hit that hard.
Yeah. Meredith gives a low key, you can leave. Like she's like, you can leave. Like you should leave, blah, 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 blah. And then it like keeps getting harder and harder and harder until she does her iconic, I think it might be iconic now. Or at least they're trying to make it iconic.
Yeah.
You can leave.
It was iconic.
Her eyes are like bulging.
The way she separated each word for maximum power, the way she looked when she delivered each word, the way they drowned out the sound and made it echoey as if Copley's just erupted with her voice in the entire thing. The way they edited it was great.
Into the Mount San Jacinto hills.
Right.
And then she calls security, which is kind of unfounded.
Unfounded and unprecedented. I don't think normally people would ever call security on someone who's actively been sitting at the table with you for probably an hour at this point. You can't do that.
Yeah, like there would be like some threat of like violence or like, you know, something would have gone down, but they were just like kind of arguing.
Yeah, at an event you can throw someone out. If it's your event and someone gets becomes a little wild, you can say, you got to get out of my event, you're causing too much chaos. But here at a dinner where you've already been there, then she immediately goes up to a waiter and
Chad.
she needs to leave, and the guy says, I think he goes, I'm gonna do whatever I can, but clearly he can't do anything about this.
I pulled up a screenshot of someone captioned it, and it's just like all spelled funny because she was slurring her words so bad, and it's like, could we get security, please? Get security. She refuses to leave. She needs to leave, and it's spelled Taleev, to leave. And her behavior is unacceptable. I'd like for her to leave.
Yeah, Meredith already has an what's that?
Accent?
Unscrutable accent.
Yeah.
You don't really know where it comes from.
She slips into British at some points.
Yeah, I forget what she said when she turns British. It was so amazing. You're embarrassing yourself. And then
she's like, you're an ugly human being.
Yeah, and then also Meredith gets very existential. So she's drunk as hell. That is that is the thing that is flowing through this entire conversation.
They're literally like martini glasses like stacked in a tower.
And the way they edited it, you don't see how many re-ups of drinks they got, because when Heather said she had 5 or 6, you don't see it because the way the conversation flows, they edited a lot out, I'm sure. But Meredith was drunk as hell. I mean, slurring her words drunkenly. Then she gets all existential. She starts to say about how the horrors of the world, how there's so much worse in the world.
It was very specific. She says, there are children that are going to be disabled for the rest of their lives, which I'm like, I assume that is specific to someone you know, because it was very
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah, she's going. There's a lot of deeper things happening, and then she gets up. She is so. First of all, I don't think Angie anticipated this reaction. I mean, who could have?
No.
She immediately, Meredith went from like they're arguing a little bit, being called fake. Meredith took it to the wildest degree ever. She gets up. She goes, "If you'll excuse me, I'm going to worry about the things that matter in this world." It's like
It was very much giving the Kim, there are people that are dying.
Oh,
That's Kardashians. When Kim actually similarly, she loses a diamond earring in the ocean, and she's sobbing because it's like a really huge diamond. It's like expensive.
Wow, very.
And she's crying, and Courtney is in the background holding her baby, and she just goes, "Kim, there are people that are dying."
I mean, you could say that about anything at any time, any second, for any reason. I mean,
but Meredith's like weeping.
Yes.
She's like talking to her husband. She's like, there are the rumors and the nastiness.
yeah, she says that so Meredith says there are rumors and nastiness about her husband. I can go there. She goes, Lisa, tell her to fuck off. Tell her, like, she wants Lisa to like go in there and like kick her out.
Yeah.
She is so upset. Like, I mean, like way more than it is warranted.
For
right?
sure. She's gone like to the dark side.
Yeah, and also they show this montage, which I didn't remember this about Meredith, but Meredith, they showed 5 instances of this, so it's a pattern. She says she has rumors on everyone and never gets into the specifics. And I forgot, she started the rumor that Lisa sucks dick to get Vita into different bars.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, you like
Yeah.
or whatever. So it's like this is something that Meredith always does. She says there are rumors that I just can't talk about. You know, and I was just like, Meredith is so much odder than she showed little bits of her oddness, like when she was in a bathtub when the Jen Shaw arrest happened or whatever, but she's way, I think, weirder than I knew.
For sure. And then they finally leave. They're all so wasted.
Lisa says, Lisa was great in this scene. I'm like really... I like Lisa's energy. Like, she can be annoying or off-putting and talk too much or whatever, but she's mostly a good neutral force. And she was like the villain for the first couple seasons, but I feel like everyone is like starting to appreciate Lisa now.
Yeah.
Anyway, she says, we got to put a cork in this and get out of here. We just like ruined Copley's.
Yeah, for sure. And then when they're in the van, Whitney has the audacity to say that it's convenient that Meredith is bringing up this thing that's going on in her life that is potentially a ailing child.
You know what? I'm going to be devil's advocate.
You agree?
I found merit to what Whitney said.
Well, wasn't the last time this happened, it was because her nephew drank bleach?
Okay. Sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. I forgot that.
But all the examples that Whitney gave were like
the milk
dumb.
The milkman quit.
But the only one I remember was that she kept being like, I have a lot going on. And it was something like horrific.
Oh my God. If we were at the reunion and I had just said that and then Andy said something like, well, her dad died and also her nephew tried to commit suicide. It's like, yeah, okay.
It was giving full First Reformed.
Wait, what? When does
that was
happen?
Drano.
Oh, wait, does he drink that?
Yeah.
He does at the end of the movie?
Is that a spoiler? Have you seen it?
I have, and I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
He drinks Drano and dies?
I think it's implied.
Oh, he just drinks Drano and he cuts the black? I didn't remember that.
And he has all those barbed wire on his body.
I just remember he was going to like blow up a church or something, right?
I think he drank Drano instead.
That's good.
I should watch it again.
I mean, good call instead of killing people.
That was the First Reformed minute, the Paul Schrader minute.
Can I say one last thing? Because that was only 40 seconds. I just watched American Gigolo for the first time.
You know what? I don't know if I've seen it.
It's awesome.
You like it?
The last 10 minutes kind of suck because I feel like there was an ending that they made him do or something, like he had to have a happy ending. It sucks. The ending is so bad. But for the first hour and 50 minutes, it rips.
Okay.
It's like the inverse of Pretty Woman, the dark side of Pretty Woman with Richard Gere now as the prostitute.
Okay.
Or, sorry.
I'm into it.
Gigolo.
Yeah.
It's great. But yeah, that was the Paul Schrader minute.
Great.
So,
okay.
I just wanted to say that I liked Whitney's excuse when she said it and the evidence she brought. I was like, maybe Meredith does do that to deflect, just like how she spreads these unfounded rumors to like get the deflect. I do think maybe she's like, it's not the time right now. I can't talk about this. And I thought those excuses were just ridiculous because you could say them at any time. We can't talk about this because children are dying.
Yeah.
But then when you say that she has had 2 horrific things happen in her past and she didn't want to deal with something.
Well,
maybe
it sounds like in the preview that there is a child
okay.
who is ill.
Okay, I didn't see that. I fully changed my tune. Whitney was wrong, and I already was.
But
mad.
both could be true. She could both have some valid excuses, but then also bullshit ones. So it's probably both. But I was like shocked that she wanted to go there.
Right, and I was mad at Whitney for bringing up 2 dinner games. So why would I give Whitney credit for doing this horrible thing?
Yeah. So Heather's in the back, struggle bus. Whitney and Mary go into it, which like. Their feud is so weird to me. I like don't understand it. I mean, I guess it's the religious thing, right?
Mary hates Whitney more than anyone. And Whitney does a really good job of throwing a stone and hiding her hand. She's a shit stirrer.
Yeah.
She's like Lisa Barlow, like in the early seasons. Like Whitney tries to stir shit up.
Yeah.
And I feel like her feud with Heather, I think we talked about this last week, is fully a storyline feud. I feel like she's being so disrespectful and horrible to Heather, who hasn't done that much to her.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think Mary is just tired of Whitney's shit. Also, I loved when Mary went right up to Whitney when Whitney and Angie were at the Trixie Motel saying how they got there early. And she goes, "Why did you come early?"
It doesn't make any sense.
And Whitney goes, "I'm good friends with Trixie, so I just wanted to come early to be with my friend." And Mary goes, "What?"
Yeah.
She goes, "That's why you came early? It doesn't make any sense."
No, it doesn't.
It was awesome.
And then when Angie starts saying something, she's like, "I wasn't talking to you."
Yeah, that was, oh my God.
She just like doesn't give a shit about anything, which is kind of a funny, option to have.
Yeah, it's great.
So then this is where she goes, Mary's saying that Whitney called her a pornography, and she keeps saying it over and over again. And then this is when
she goes, Mary says, "You went all the way to the ground. You went all the way to the dirt." And Whitney goes, "I never accused you of doing porn." And Mary goes, "I didn't say porn." And then Mary goes, Heather, what did she call me?" And then Heather in her complete drunken stupor, like we said, "Predator." And then Mary gets out, right? They
keep trying to get Heather out of the van, and she is like, "I gotta sit down." She's like, "I can't do it," which I'm like, they should have pushed her further. She only had to take just a few more steps.
She could have gotten a fully just clean barf right outside that no one would have had to deal with. It would have been in the grass or the stones. Instead, barf. Potentially all over the
I felt
Sprinter
so
van.
bad for the driver. Like the driver was waiting for them to get out, and then they go, "Close the door," and then she closes the door, and then she goes back around, and then I think production's like, "Open the door," and she like runs out, and you can tell she's like terrified of what she'll see.
Production didn't want to pay that $250 cleaning fee in the Sprinter van. Have you ever barfed in an Uber?
No, I'm not a barfer.
You never barf?
No.
Whoa, have you ever barfed?
I have, but from drinking, very rare. And otherwise very rare.
Wow. Steel trap.
Pretty good.
Damn, I barf.
My gut is strong.
That's amazing. So you could hold, so if we did a 6 espresso martini challenge like we want to do next week.
Well, I told you I can't drink vodka. That's the one thing.
Let's do tequila espresso martinis.
Okay.
But, okay. Anyway.
I can drink like unlimited wine. The booze is where it gets tricky, which is why I usually don't drink it.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, right. Booze. Yeah. Yeah. I would barf from liquor. One time I was in an Uber and I almost had to barf, and my wife was sitting in the front seat and she said, "Sir, can we pull over? My husband is very sick." like a flu.
Help him.
And then he pulled over and he let me barf on the side.
Good. You don't want to pay.
Could you imagine that? Oh my God, that fee must be wild. Barf?
That's bad.
And it would make your car
bad
stink.
As it gets.
That's like, if you're an Uber driver, that's the one thing you do not want.
No.
So, Whitney closes the door so Heather can barf in peace. You hear the mic. They sounded like realistic barfing sounds to me.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any merit to her faking this for.
And potentially peeing at the same time. I'm just saying, watch it back. It's a lot of like liquid.
Why would she have peed?
Maybe she's so fucked up.
If she peed and barfed, that's...
I saw a video of someone that recorded a woman at a slot machine in Vegas, and she was just pissing in the seat.
That's wild.
I was like, whoa.
Damn, yeah, we're far from...
Respect.
We're far from those days.
Maybe at BravoCon we'll pee at a slot machine.
I would do that. Or in like one of those trash cans that they have set up. I would block you if you want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Set up shop.
All right, was that
Okay.
Salt Lake City? We did it
It
good?
was. It was good. It was a good episode, I gotta say.
Oh, if you haven't watched Salt Lake City, which why wouldn't you have? This episode was rip-roaring, so fun. There was barf. There was actually dinner games that led to one of the best dinner scenes in a while. Meredith was drunk as hell.
Yeah.
It was just
I know.
fun.
I hate to say it. I don't want to, I think like RHONY legacy got too much about drinking, or the women had too much. It was like they were just wasted all the time, and it became kind of sad. Towards the end, it was just too much. It was like Dorinda was had a bad relationship with alcohol. Sonia would be sometimes it was just all right, we need something besides alcohol.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's how I feel about the Tres Amigas.
Yeah. But having a total lack of alcohol on the new RHONY leaves a glaring hole, in my opinion. And I feel like I'm not allowed to say that because it's unhealthy.
Well, we've talked about it before.
But, you know, this Salt Lake episode was really kicked into high gear.
Yeah, it was by alcohol, but I do think, I'm just
But
trying
the pieces were already there.
Pieces were there, and Lisa wasn't drunk. Mary wasn't drunk. But, there was other elements to where a little splash of barf and drunkenness was good and great for the episode, but also they were killing it with just even doing the shopping and the little moments or whatever, too.
Yeah.
So I think overall the new RHONY cast members are just so restrained. You can feel them. They're just so uncomfortable. And maybe if they were traditionally, I don't know, but maybe none of them are drinkers. And that's,
I don't think they are.
yeah, none of them naturally want to get
at
drunk.
least 2 of them are fully sober.
Uba and Jenna.
Yeah. And then the rest of them, are kind of just uptight.
I think Jessel lets loose and gets probably the drunkest, but she doesn't want to be drunk on camera yet.
Yeah. Or
And
it's
then Bryn-
if no one else is drinking, then what's the point?
And you'd think Bryn would be the drunken one who would be all for it, but I don't think she's ever been drunk on camera either.
Right. All right. Anyways, do you think
Yeah.
we can do OC and NY in 30 minutes or less?
Yep. Let's put a timer on. So we, Amy and I try to. I just dinged the shit out of the mic stand. I'm so sorry. That's going to sound like a bell going off. Okay, I'm going to set a timer for 30 minutes to see if we can. I mean, if we go past 3 hours, nobody's going to listen, right?
People say they like it.
People like going past 3 hours. They want it to be.
That should be the limit.
Now we're in we're not even Lord of the Rings level. We'd be Lord of the Rings extended edition.
Oh God. I will say, OC is almost done.
Yes.
So soon, I think we'll be in a good place.
Yeah. Oh
Like,
no,
we're-
because I
Winter
think
House?
Potomac is coming back and Winter House. They're just
There's too many things.
the trough is being loaded up as we speak. As soon as you and I think we've gotten done eating the slop, well, that's not slop, but good slop that they're giving us, and we think we're clearing our plates, they're ready to shovel in more.
I feel like 3 shows is the perfect amount.
They want 4.
But it's always 4 to 5.
They want all the demographics to be rung at the same time. 2 different Housewives franchises always going right completely, and as one ends, a new one starts. And then all the under 42s, they want to make sure there's one of those. And then what else? Below Deck is just I guess always on.
Yeah, we don't have time for Below Deck.
All right, so I mean, I have this. It's I guess, can I just say my general thoughts and whatever
Yes.
you want to highlight?
Yeah.
So this episode, every single cast member, besides Vicky and Jen and Taylor, tries to take a piece of Heather in, I think, the least justified ways that we've seen the entire season. They have all made a pact, an evil, despicable pact, that they are trying to bring Heather down and make her the villain of this season for some reason. I have no clue why.
Yeah.
And Heather has not done one thing wrong this entire season. One thing that they have said. They said that she talked shit off camera about John and Shannon when we know all of them have talked shit. And
Yeah.
Tamra, way more than Heather, has talked shit about the relationship.
Yeah.
They say that Heather said that Shannon/Tamra said something horrible about whatever.
BravoCon.
It's so convoluted and stupid. They all want a piece. Even Shannon this episode. She's like, when do I get a turn at Heather? I've got something to say it to Heather.
Yeah.
It's just, it is so ridiculous.
And it really works on Gina. like at the end when they're just like, she called you a loser, which, do you believe that?
No, I
You
don't.
think she was truly talking about Noella?
She was. I totally believe it. I don't even care if Heather called Emily a loser one time. She didn't, because since Heather got back on with Gina, she liked Gina last season.
Yeah.
Heather doesn't go around calling people losers. Also, I think she was quoting Tamra. She was quoting what Tamra said in Two Peas in a Pod, or whatever the fuck that podcast is called. She was quoting Tamra saying, I'm with these losers now. And then Heather said at BravoCon, oh, so you have to do a panel with those losers. And then Tamra is making it seem like Heather originated that statement. Heather doesn't call people losers willy-nilly.
Right. Yeah. But Gina like immediately was like devastated by this news.
Fake devastated.
Like I was like,
no, she's wanted to. She doesn't like Heather. She wants to be a part of this feud as much as all the other people. So she uses this and completely runs with it. Like, this is so indicative of Heather's behavior, that she's a good friend to Heather. I haven't seen one instance. This season started with Heather saying Gina just completely went off the map when after the season was over. It's been Heather who's been trying to foster a friendship with
Right.
Gina.
yeah, no, you really saw Heather's spirit dwindle over the course of this episode.
I've never seen a housewife get more, what's it called, brought down, like spirit.
She was like
beaten.
despondent.
She's like, I feel like I don't have a voice anymore. I can't speak. My throat closes up because I know that every single thing I say is going to start a fight. And in this episode, you see it.
Yeah.
She says, I mean, I guess I don't know how nuanced. I mean, we can get into it, but like
Sure.
everything she does say starts something with one of them. And I don't know why the hell Emily is doing this.
Yeah.
Like I had such higher hopes and expectations for Emily, but she wants in on this Heather dog pile as much as anyone.
Yeah, for sure. She like brings up Snuffleupagus again. And then, like it keeps happening over and over again. I'm just going to cruise through some of these details. First
Sure.
of all, I will say, Gina does defend Heather for a bit there, saying like, I think her mom was like intense and that there's like certain like childhood shit. Like, I don't know. She was like, maybe that's why you guys don't like each other. I don't know.
No, I mean, but she's trying to justify Heather's awful behavior. It's like, Heather has not been awful to any of you.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
But
Those
I forgot
clips
about
of-
Heather's mom.
Those clips of Heather's mom.
She's
I
scary.
forgot about them. They
Yeah.
were kind of wild.
I know. They've only shown her. I think that was the only time they showed her that one time. And then Vicky admits that she has gotten a happy ending, and she told us the code on how to get a happy ending.
Yeah, I knew this,
Oh, you
but
did?
it was so amazing to hear Vicky talk about it. You put your foot in a frog position so that your foot.
Why does everyone know this?
Well, you know, when you go there, if you go to, you know, there are certain massage places that have a, no, I'm just kidding. So, I didn't know this before. But did Vicky say that you put your, I couldn't get the details right. Does she say that you put your foot near your vagina? And then
Yeah.
if they include a foot massage, obviously your vagina is going to be included
I
in it?
guess.
Is
I
that
was
what
like shocked. So it's like her and Denise Richards
Also
getting
s-
happy endings all day.
I think it's much more common that, like, I mean, I definitely think masseuses don't like it when you ask for them if they're not doing that.
Yeah.
But I do think it's more prevalent than you think, because
Yeah.
it's in a lot of pop culture.
Right. Yeah.
Were you excited by that Vicky revelation?
I mean, I was shocked. I thought she was a good Christian woman.
She is so.
She said it was a long time ago.
She doesn't like being sexual because she doesn't like to talk about that because of her religion, I think. But you know, she is very, very sexual.
Yes.
And I think she's come to terms with her sexuality, and Bravo has definitely leaned more. That's how like Taylor sort of got affected by the Bravo ethos a little bit,
Yeah.
where it's like it's such a sex positive culture that you definitely get credit when you bring up these things. I
For
think Vicky
sure.
was ready to share that story.
Yeah. Did you like that both on OC and RHONY that there were sea turtles?
Yes. There's
Double
a very-
turtle energy.
Yes, a total turtle themed week. I liked that a lot.
And then, okay, so at dinner, this is when Vicky goes in on Jen. She starts out by saying, she's like, at first she's like, well, Ryan's the dirty one, you know, but then she makes the terrible statement that you've got 5 kids. You needed to make that marriage work. And everyone's like, no. But then she's like, I left my husband for a loser and I'll never forgive myself, which
Yes.
I always like forget about the timeline, the Brooks timeline.
There was some Brooks crossover.
Yeah.
He
was like waiting in the wings.
He totally was. He was like emailing her, sending them like slightly flirty messages. So she honestly left Dawn with one foot out the door thinking that the Brooks era was going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So I have a different take than you on this. I felt like Vicky very ham-handedly tried to get her point across by saying you should have stayed in that marriage, but I only thought she was talking about herself. She just saw what Jen did and saw the parallels, because in her mind and in my mind, I do think Jen left her relationship for a loser. I mean, I cannot like Ryan any less.
Yeah.
And I do think it seems like he's so charming, and you're going to have this sex life, and you're going to be badasses riding on motorcycles, and it's so alluring. The grass is always greener.
For sure.
So I felt like Vicky very ineloquently said that. And then Gina, of course, jumped on her because Gina wants any moment she can have.
Yeah.
And then I felt like Jen didn't really... Jen liked that perspective.
I think by the end,
Yes.
it was like made more clear.
Yes.
But it was bold up front.
It was bold, and I didn't like what Vicky did last week where she's starting to talk about shit she doesn't know about. I felt like this was just more advice from Vicky. And I would just want to say,
It's just,
overall, I loved Vicky this episode.
Yeah.
I was like, this is Vicky.
Wow, by the end. Yeah. But yeah, like I just thought it was annoying that like Jen had to be like, I mourn my marriage. I'm like, you don't have to fucking prove that
No.
you were sad about your divorce to Vicky.
I mean, we all, as an audience, and all of them, thought the Jen and Ryan shit was over. The fact that it is still coming up is like...
It's exhausting.
It is so exhausting.
I'm exhausted for Jen. Like Jen was like so shut down during that conversation, like similar to Heather. She was just like, all right, like I'm just going to lay down and take it. Like whatever you have to say next. I just can't even...
That's exactly what it is.
Deal
it's
with
like,
it.
It's like, let's go to dinner. What am I going to say that is going to bring the fury of the 4 other cast members to make me look horrible? That's it.
Yeah.
They're just laying
You're like,
down.
I don't have the energy anymore.
Right.
Okay, and then on the last day of the trip, the Tres Amigas are unhinged, and Shannon walks through the room, and Vicky's like, "You have a maxi pad hanging out of," or what she say? "You have toilet paper hanging out of your asshole."
Yeah.
And then they reveal that Shannon hasn't brushed her teeth in 5 days.
Right. And they said, you could have gotten one from the lobby.
Yeah,
I mean, all hotels do have those little
of course.
travel kits. I think that she just wanted to take a break from brushing her teeth.
Shannon was like acting, she was like, "It's like a maze out there. I had no way to get to the front." And I'm like, you guys have left the hotel every day of this trip. Like,
she's just been
get it on
brushing
your way out.
Yeah. I mean, Shannon is like, there are so many things about Shannon that are just so entertaining that you can't even begin to describe. Like if you told me Shannon didn't brush her teeth for 5 days, I would never believe it. And then you just found out it's true.
Yeah.
She hasn't been brushing her teeth this entire time.
Quickly, Emily reveals that she wants to do a fitness competition, which is such a housewives thing at this point. Which I wonder if she will now that she's so fit in 2023.
Yeah. And so then the Heather, just to like highlight my favorite scene, which is that Heather was in the van with everyone. She's already said 100 times to everyone that she's so tired of them picking apart everything she does, and she's told it to us in the confessionals. Then they get in the bus and they immediately start talking about how Heather followed Emily again
On Instagram.
And then Emily says, Heather says, "I got FOMO from watching you all, so I took a break from you all, but then I refollowed."
Which I'm pretty
you.
sure Tamra did the same thing when she got fired or whatever.
I'm sure. And then Emily goes, "Well, can you see how that sort of like seems really awful to us?" And Heather goes, "Whatever you want. Whatever you think it means."
I would do the same thing. I'd
That's
be
what
like,
it means.
"I am not engaging with you right now. Like I cannot. Like I like physically and mentally and spiritually cannot engage with this bullshit conversation right now."
She goes, "It's all my fault. It's all my fault. Whatever. Just say it. Whatever." And then Emily makes a joke. She's like, "Well, then I blocked you." And then Tamra, chiming in like an evil demon, goes, "Can we mute her?" So it's like not only are you talking shit about her, making fun of this stupid following Instagram thing, then you're talking about muting her because you don't like her content because she's annoying, and then Heather cries.
Yeah.
She gets out
She's
of the
like,
bus.
"I want to go home." And they're all like, "What do you mean? Why? Whatever." And Vicky's like, "She feels picked on, you dumb bitch."
Shannon goes, "I haven't even talked to her yet." Shannon, after all of that, you wanted to say even more? Like you have more to talk about and point out about Heather?
And Heather off camera somewhere in like a, shop somewhere is like, "I hate them all."
they have the audio. She's going, I hate them all. I hate them all. They go to the shaman, which they need to go to the shaman.
Yeah.
Tamra, Shannon, get to the goddamn shaman. Heather goes shopping with Emily and Gina. Emily and Gina are like huddled up together. Like they are their only, they are take comfort in each other. They are like the alliance that can't break. And they just completely just ignore Heather. Heather's like, I haven't felt this way in so long where everyone hates me. Like,
yeah, she's like, not even shopping is making me feel better.
Yeah, and then you watch Heather and Gina, they're like, let's take a selfie together, just us. So Heather goes into a room by herself, and Taylor comes, and I thought this was the sweetest thing I've ever seen and so genuine, and like I love Taylor almost forever for it. She was like, do you want to talk about it? And then Heather's like, in the confessional, she's like, should I confide in Taylor, or is Taylor going to rip me a new asshole for anything I say?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm just going to take a chance on Taylor. So she opens up. She says what she's been saying this entire episode, which is that I can't say anything.
Yeah.
And Taylor says, I think that they don't give you any like leeway for anything you say because you have so much money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And then Heather's like, I'm not apologizing for being rich. And she's like, you shouldn't. But like, I think that's why they hate you.
Yeah. And then Taylor's like, just so you know, like, I feel what you're going through. Like, I felt it this entire trip. And I think that was really sweet. Like, I haven't seen a genuine bonding moment. I
keep forgetting that she's there.
I know. And I feel like Taylor is not long for OC because people feel like she didn't bring a lot. But for a moment like this, with a very chaotic cast who are so desperate for any type of conflict, I actually just like the Taylor take a back seat, be integral when you need to be. And if it got this scene with Heather where she has a genuine friend, like I really liked that.
Yeah.
I was like so happy that someone went out on a limb and just listened to Heather and felt for her. That was really sweet.
Yeah, for sure. And then the other bitches are at the shaman, which is now like top 3 like housewives tropes is going to a shaman.
Yep.
Of course Vicky's like, is he voodoo, like blah blah blah.
Yeah, like I don't know what is a shaman. I don't even know how to say it. It's like, what? You've heard the word shaman before, right?
Yeah. But then
Tamra's thing is interesting. She just says, I want my friends to trust me and I want to trust my friends. It's like, no way. No one is ever going to fucking trust you ever.
Yeah, except at the end Jen and Tamra hug and say that they love each other. And I'm like, didn't this already just happen?
That's
like,
because Tamra, I mean, God, we're going to go so far over 3 hours, but Tamra just knows that every time she attacks Jen, she's starting to look worse and worse, and she can't believe that she's bringing it up, but she's just so fired up to have any drama and conflict that she keeps doing it, and then she just keeps having to forgive Jen because she knows this is not going to go well.
Yeah, it's a toxic cycle.
Yeah.
And then they go to this like treehouse restaurant where your booth is like a bed. I was kind of into it.
I was like,
imagine being like getting like a hangover brunch and it's like a bed.
I wanted to go there so bad.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I loved it. I loved how funny it was that Shannon is doing her physical comedy of
Vicky and Shannon they didn't realize they could have just walked around the long way like everyone else, but they had to walk on like a net. And Vicky's like, oh God, like, and then she keeps trying to grab Shannon and Shannon's like, don't touch me. And then they did the flashback to them doing the rope climbing where Vicky's fingers get smashed because Shannon's like standing on the rope.
It was so funny. That was like,
I was like cackling.
I loved it.
Then Shannon starts crawling on the ground with her Spanx, just like totally showing.
Yeah.
She has like no dignity.
Yeah, definitely some physical comedy there. It was kind of fun.
Also, earlier in the episode, Vicky sits down on a couch that doesn't have a back, like it's like a chaise, and you can see her realize that it's about to happen, and she just doubles down and is like, who makes a couch without a back? And it's like you see her realize that she needs to stop reclining, and then she just like doubles down and makes it like a physical comedy.
I mean, now that you said that Shannon just makes physical comedy part of her character, now I can't, now I think that's true. Like she just
they both do.
Yeah,
Vicky, the montage of Vicky falling, she does it constantly.
But I thought she legitimately falls because she gets hurt so often.
Sure, but like they both are like, whoa! Like,
yeah, Shannon does more silly falling, and I thought Vicky's was real, but maybe Vicky also does.
Well, Vicky also is constantly dry heaving.
Yes,
at
totally.
all times.
Not a lot of other housewives. I'm sorry to drag this on, but not a lot of other housewives do physical comedy stuff. I'm realizing.
It's true.
I think it's just
they're
Shannon,
the queens.
Vicky, yeah.
Okay, so then when they're all together, shit starts going wrong again. Who says they're talking, I think, about Jen and Ryan maybe, and then
Emily says, I will no longer ever
Yeah.
talk about Jen and Ryan again. I'm going to learn who you are on your own. Basically, Emily is like, I'm done talking about Jen and Ryan.
Yeah.
Then Vicky, they ask an update on Vicky's love life.
Oh,
Vicky
right,
says,
right.
I'm going slow in my new relationship. Heather says, I think it's so nice to hear you say you're going slow because you're normally 100% in. Tamra goes, huh? She goes, what? That's interesting.
I've heard you say that before.
That's interesting that you say that because wasn't it you in Montana that just 6 months ago said? And it's like she's been waiting forever to say this.
It was
stupid,
so out of nowhere.
stupid. And and when Tamra gets activated, she goes, and she goes, it's so interesting that you say that because I have a little bone to pick with you about what you said about Shannon in Montana. Who fucking remembers what people said in Montana? That was years ago.
Yeah,
I mean, it happened.
when remember Shannon went into the saloon. She was like, I have to call my kids, and she went to change in the saloon, and then everyone talked shit about
Yes.
her and John for a while.
This season has felt like years.
And the only thing Heather said was like, maybe she's not all in on her relationship. Like maybe she has one foot out the door because they have issues.
And then so Tamra brings it up. She goes, I have to call out that you did that. And then Shannon goes, yeah, I have a bone to pick with you. Shannon finally gets her, the shit talking she wants to do gets Heather. She goes, you shouldn't have used the word all in. Heather goes, I don't want to think about every fucking thing I say.
Yeah. Word police.
You're not the word police. Can I just say anything? And then Heather, I feel like Gina goes, oh God, we have to fucking talk about. Then the BravoCon thing gets
which I find
brought
very
up.
confusing because it's all very vague, but it turns out it was Tamra. Emily got it wrong.
But Tamra goes, I was just quoting Heather. And the look on her face when I quoted Heather, because I remembered what she said. I don't believe one fucking thing that Tamra ever says.
Yeah.
Ever. So then the BravoCon thing gets up. Gina makes a meal out of it. She goes, I'm getting another season. She goes, I'm going to start crying. I'm going to say, I've loved my friendship with Heather, but I'm finally writing her off. And then Heather goes, before Gina can leave, fake leave, Heather goes, I'm getting out of here. You know?
Yeah.
Like she basically takes the thunder of leaving from dinner before Gina can leave.
Yeah. Vicky at this point is like literally crying.
Yeah.
She's like at the bar and she was like, can't we be women of integrity, women of honor?
It was amazing. I mean, I know she's overreacting, obviously, to this, but it's just so funny. I've never seen that side of Vicky before.
No, she was so upset. She was like, I've grown so much. I can't deal with this kind of thing anymore. And Heather's like pissed. She's like, I'm done with the show. Like, I'm fucking out. And Vicky's like, you should. This is bullshit. Like, I could never.
I mean, there's been a lot of great fourth wall breaks, but there's been a lot of contrived ones where they're just using it. Like Shannon did 2 fourth wall breaks for no reason, but this one was like, Heather is fully justified in breaking the fourth wall and saying, how can you be on a show where just every single thing you say is just attacked by 5 different people?
It's interesting though that like Vicky is so on her side at this point, and she's like supportive, but then it's like 4 hours later and it's just the Tres Amigas like getting lit.
They knew they had to have a Tres Amigas moment again, but Vicky that was amazing of Vicky to be on Heather's side. I loved that. I loved her consoling her. Both Taylor and Vicky killed it. Heather, screams. Or no, she didn't scream, but she says, I'm done with the show. I'm leaving, which we don't know what's going to happen there, except it's the finale, basically.
Right.
So she had to maybe film for like one more week after this.
Right. So yeah, and then it's like the next morning, Heather, Taylor, and Jen are like bonding. They're saying, or it's actually still the nighttime, but they're separate. And like Heather's like, I'm proud of you, Jen, for speaking up for yourself, blah, blah, blah. And then it shows that Heather says that she has proof that Tamra's been talking shit on Gina. Yeah.
And then they showed a clip of it, and it's from 2 T's in a pod, and it's Tamra literally calling Gina and Emily losers.
Right.
And yeah.
And then it looks like the season finale is going to rip, and it's very much Heather v. Tamra.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell where it looks like they keep trying to coordinate the other women against each other, and it looks like there's like a back and forth.
Yeah, Tamra's like, Heather's assembling her army or whatever. But anyway, I mean, Gina flopped so hard. She immediately, the minute that Gina has gotten, the one good thing about Gina is that she knows Tamra and thinks she's evil and knows she's always the cause of all conflict. And then for some reason she decides to, like, just like Heather says, she believes Tamra in this instance and goes against Heather. It's so ridiculous. Yeah. But yeah, it seems, I mean, like we said, I think right before recording, like the finale actually looks good. If Heather realizes that it's just been Tamra one-sided feud this entire time, I'm ready for that.
Yeah, it looks juicy.
Looks good. All right,
okay.
and then RHONY was dog shit. So let's
3 minutes or less.
I mean, I almost could, but no,
okay.
We can go.
It's a more bullshit about how everyone's mad about Jessel's recap of her past.
Your parents' story is not your story. They said, which says no one has ever said that in the history of the world.
Yeah, I'm like, have you heard? Do you watch Finding Your Roots? Because Skip Gates disagrees.
Yeah. Also, I just for context, this all came from a dinner when Bryn left and didn't go to dinner. Apparently, they all had a dinner where Jessel talked about her life more, and it was so boring, so boring, that they couldn't show this dinner in full. They had to show one 30-second clip from it where this drama happened.
The boring edit.
Could you imagine how boring that dinner must have been?
Seriously. They're like getting into the nitty gritty of like. Jessel's like, yeah, like my parents never helped me. I lived with my uncle because he lived in New York and I wanted this internship or whatever. She was like, I literally had like $20 in my account. And Sai goes, having $20 in my account would have been a dream at that time. And I'm like, why are we doing like poverty Olympics?
I
like,
had no clue.
What the fuck?
I had negative $498. $20 would have been a dream.
And then luckily in the confessional, Uba's like, yeah, like that's not the point. Like, we're all broke. That was the point. Like that could be like a bonding point of
also Aaron keeps saying like, what bothers me about this story that Jessel's saying, it's like, it doesn't bother you. You're not bothered. I'm
also like, I don't need Aaron being the one outraged about it. If like, I still think it's annoying that Sai is outraged, but I'm like, if Bryn or Sai want to like say that Jessel is like performing that she grew up poor or something, like if anyone should be bothered, it's them because they had like hard childhoods. But I'm like, does Aaron have a horse in this race? She's like the richest, was raised the most privileged of them all.
Right. Because she just is trying to create conflict for no reason because she has nothing else to do. Yeah.
Uba records Jessel snoring, which I couldn't decide if that was like a low blow or not.
I thought it was just par for the course for how unentertaining they are, that was something that they were all laughing about, like snores.
Yeah.
Bryn continues her trajectory this entire time of trying to be the biggest flirt of all time.
This whole episode was flirt with Jenna storyline.
Where nothing can be said. It's like Steve Carell in The Office, what she said.
Yeah.
That's what she said. She is just every single thing. The captain's like, who wants to steer the boat?
It's like a tick.
She goes, I don't want to steer the boat, but I'll ride you.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's like a
straw is sucking dick.
Yeah.
You know what's good? Choking on a dick.
Yeah.
Like, god damn. Yeah.
Did you like that Jenna wore a whale trainer type outfit?
I loved it for what it called to my mind of Heather wearing that. I love that.
Yes. So yeah, then
I mean, the boat ride has absolutely nothing besides them bringing up Jessel's story. Sai gets pissed for no reason. Then it was just a fucking full-blown flop. Boring.
Yeah.
Then they have the worst dinner game I've ever seen in the history of Housewives ever, which is tell your most embarrassing story. A horrible, contrived, boring dinner game. And their stories were so bad.
Yeah.
Shitting pants.
Yeah. Bryn claims that the first time she put a tampon in, she put it in her asshole, which I cannot believe.
Well, all of her stories have been bullshit.
That was like what made me realize that she lied about everything so far.
She lies about everything. Aaron is right to call.
I know you don't have female anatomy, but like the idea.
I put a tampon on my ass.
I mean, you do have an asshole, I assume. Right. So like. That's like impossible.
Right.
Like that's insane.
I saw people saying this sounds like bullshit. It sounds like they're doing what's his name did in Summer House. She's doing American Pie bits.
Yeah. And then she's like choking on the straw. All the middle-aged people at the restaurant are like, Jesus
Christ.
And
it just comes out of nowhere. It's just so unjustified, so inauthentic. It's ridiculous.
Jessel's story was pretty good, like compared to everyone else's. It was fine, but like
she fell off. She went down a waterfall and she was topless for a second. At seeing
no
frogs.
I mean, people thought it was more entertaining than it was.
They were over laughing at all of them.
It was probably the best story. Jenna's was just like she ate shit. At least it had a celebrity cameo in it.
Ralph Fiennes.
Then Uba's story sucks shit. Is that she had TP on her foot.
Yeah,
I'm like,
this was so bad.
it was like each one got like less and less. Like Uba, everyone was like, well, so Sai said she literally shit herself. So like that's like the pinnacle of like a shit story. And then Uba's follow up is just TP on your foot. Like who gives a fuck? And then Erin's is that her child cried on a flight.
It was horrible. I mean, it's the worst example of dinner games. This is now the 10th dinner game they've done when they sit down. I don't know why they think you can't just talk about actual things. Maybe because they tried it at the last dinner and they were so boring that that this has to happen. But it was even more boring having them tell these dumb stories.
It didn't feel like they connected through it at all.
No, it was horrendous. And then we have to say that Erin got pushed in the pool once.
By Uba.
The feeling when you get pushed in the pool once, and she's made it her mission, like as if this is like the thing she wants to do most in the world, is to prank Uba back. I'm not really sure how pushing someone in the pool is a prank.
Yeah. She then like tries to push her in and Uba like won't go, so it like fails. But then while Uba's standing by the pool, Sai runs in and just shoves her in, which I was like slightly terrified. Like I was like, ooh, like
pushed her really hard.
Like I was like, that's just like, maybe I'm fucking old, but I mean, I just see Ken falling into the
I had the same thing.
Shallow end at
Uba
Villa
turned
Rosa.
into Ken for a second. I was like, oh my God, I hope there's not that like shallow end there.
Yeah.
And Uba was so not braced for a fall. She was like just completely
I'm
limp.
just like feel like it could go so wrong so easily of like your foot didn't make it out or like whatever. So the fact that I thought Erin made a unfortunately good point where so later she steals Uba's phone for like 45 minutes. Uba can't find her phone.
Uh-huh.
She has it back before bedtime. It's like not a fucking big deal.
Okay.
But it was a weird prank because
it's not a prank.
It's just
taking someone's phone when they left it. It was not a prank. And she also thought she was being so fun. Erin thinks she's so fun.
Right. Well, that's like Bryn was like, leave the joking
go
with
to
me,
a comedy
girl.
workshop. Erin describes herself as chill.
Right.
And she thinks she's so fun and funny. It's like,
no, she's so flop. But my only thing that I agreed with her was that she's like, okay, I guess I didn't realize that Uba was so like attached to her phone. Like I didn't think it was gonna be such a big deal.
Yeah.
And she's like, she didn't know that I wasn't gonna make a big deal about getting shoved in a pool. Like I feel like someone would be more likely to be outraged getting shoved into a pool than not having their phone for 40 minutes.
Well, I have a lot of contrary opinions on this, but I don't know how long we want to go. I mean, I guess that's like, if people are still listening, if you're listening now, thank God, you're a wonderful person. So I'll say what I'm going to say. I thought Erin had such a skewed, stupid perception of what pranks are that taking a phone was just so dumb and not a prank. It's just... Uba thought she lost her phone, and then when she texts to find out where it is, Erin gave those stupid thinking emojis for where it was. It's like Erin thought this was so playful and fun as a payback for being pushed in the pool that I just thought I understood Uba's grievance towards this, and it's just not in the same realm, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a 30-minute timer. I'm sorry, that's a 30-minute timer. I thought I was getting another phone call.
We're almost there.
Yeah, we're almost there. So I felt like Erin, just in her warped view of trying to be fun and trying to prank, she did a very dumb prank that Uba found very, she felt personally hurt by because she has to talk to her family about, everything she said. I thought her anger was so, okay, you push back. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
It wasn't long enough for it to be that big of a deal.
I don't know how long
she got it before bed.
I mean, she had to look around the house in the dark thinking her phone was gone.
Erin said 45 minutes, and then later she said an hour.
Okay. All right. Well, whichever side you're
on. And
on.
obviously she didn't start looking for it until they were done hanging out, so she wasn't missing it for very long.
Right. Well, regardless of who was in the wrong
the point
here,
is that they're both fucking boring and that neither of them have a good sense of humor, so neither of them should prank at all because they both are going to get mad about whatever. Like, it would have been funny if Erin was funny, like if it was someone funny, then send a text that's like, I ransom $1 million, like, like do some bullshit.
That's
but
exactly.
Like, I don't know. It was just a flop.
That's what it was. It's just that we have to like watch this thing happened that is just so unjustified and so weird, and it's like we don't know how to feel about it.
Right. And then it's just a matter of like whoever's siding with who is they were already going to side with. Like Jessel's like, I'm team Uba because Uba had my back in this other conversation. So Jessel's like, yeah, it's really fucked up that she stole your phone. Whereas I'm sure if she was like in cahoots with the other ones, she'd be like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So anyways, Bryn is like sucking Jenna's dick, brings her breakfast in bed. Bryn and Aaron describe each other as Lucy and Ethel at one point. And I'm like, you guys fucking hated each other one episode ago, like Lucy and Ethel. That's fucking crazy.
Wait, you forgot that Aaron said, I really love you, Bryn, last episode for some reason.
Yeah. And then when Jessel and Uba are talking about the phone thing, Jessel's like, they accused me of being your lawyer because I was like representing you down there. And Uba goes, maybe I should hire Aaron's husband as my lawyer. And Jessel goes like, zing. And I was like, what about that is funny? Like you're just saying that her husband is a lawyer?
Yeah, I didn't understand it at all.
I was like, that's not a joke or a burn or anything.
It's just acknowledging.
It's just a fact.
It's just acknowledging that you said lawyer and someone's a lawyer that you know.
I was like, you guys are all like, my brain keeps like trying to ping pong to like something to connect with. And I'm like, it's a flop around every corner.
I just can't.
The calls are coming from inside the house.
Yeah, exactly. I can't even parse it. I don't know which one of you is flopping harder. And then Aaron, when Uba's mad at her the next day, she knows she's mad. Aaron starts to go like, I'm mad that she's mad. Yeah. I can't believe she's making this big deal. I think it's really mean of her to make this, to be mean to me about this. It's like, God damn.
But she's like preemptively terrified.
Oh, she's terrified.
Like she's not making eye contact with me. Like I'm intimidated. I'm scared. Yeah. But then she tries to charge around the corner at Uba and goes, don't talk about me. Don't say my name when I'm not here. And I was like, whoa. And then Uba's like, oh, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah. Aaron thought that she was justified in her anger towards Uba and that she could now call out Uba for saying her name when Uba said it innocently, just referring to where she was.
Yeah, and like they probably could have just like, de-escalated it pretty easily. But then Uba like rips her sunglasses off her face and she's like, you messed with the wrong one. Like, you took my phone. She's like chasing her around and Aaron is like truly like in fear for her life.
Yes, totally. So one positive about this episode, even though 90% of it was complete dog shit, Uba seems to have the right take on a lot of things. She said they need to stop nitpicking Jessel's story. Yeah. I thought that it's okay, justified for her to be, mad at Aaron for taking the phone. We can talk about that. But then also I felt like her anger was justified at Aaron. That didn't seem performative to me. It felt like she was legitimately pissed.
Totally.
It didn't feel inauthentic. And I think that's the first real reaction to a conflict that we've actually seen on this show so far. So that was
like there was energy there.
There was energy. That was actual energy. And so
yeah, I'm excited. I don't know if I was excited, but it looks like it continues into next week. And there's like the hot tub, and Aaron at one point tells Uba to shut up, and then Uba like gets up, and it's like a whole thing. It's just surprising because Uba has been sort of tertiary this whole time. And so
I think she found a cause and she's ready to fight.
And I'm happy for it to be against Aaron.
Yeah, I know. Aaron deserves everything that's coming to her. She's been perpetuating so much fake conflict this entire time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where everyone else falls in line around this.
I'm not excited to see it, but it will
well, not excited, but interested to see.
Yeah, it will have... There will be some interest in seeing where they fall. I know I won't be entertained by it.
This is definitely going to be like 3/4 of the reunion.
For sure. This is it. Well, I want to say as we end, it's 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Longest episode of all time.
I don't think we've ever gone past 3 hours and 10 minutes. What happened today?
There's too many shows on the air.
Because we had to talk about Southern Charm.
Yeah, we got too excited.
We got so excited about Southern. Anyway, 3 hours and 10 minutes. Thank you to anyone who's listened. I want to say Bryn Whitfield did a great job with the Certified Stinker Award. She took it with grace. She had 2 days to refute it. She decided to just take it for 7 days, which is fine. She's no longer the Certified Stinker.
Okay.
And I haven't run this past you.
Okay.
But I'm nominating a new Certified Stinker for the week, and you get your classic either approve or deny. And that's what we can end with.
Okay.
So, well, first I want to do one plug before we announce our Certified Stinker for the week. Amy and I are recapping Vanderpump Rules on our Patreon.
Yep.
If you want to listen to Amy and I talk about Vanderpump Rules in depth, in chronological order, we are just entering season 3, and Amy and I have fresh eyes now on this whole thing. We're watching the Miami girl cheating scandal with fresh new eyes. I think it's an interesting time to dip in, and you pay $5. You get access to everything for a month.
Yep.
You could listen to 100 episodes and then just dip out if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my plug for the Patreon. If for some reason you need more than 3 hours and 12 minutes, Amy and I have a Patreon, Villa Rosa VIP. And then now, Bryn is no longer the certified stinker. I want to nominate Tamra Judge.
Okay.
You don't concur with me? You how about you think about it just for maybe 5 seconds and then just say approve or deny, and then we'll end right after that.
I'll approve.
Okay, did you need to think about it at all?
I do think that in retrospect, she comes out nasty this season.
As opposed to her previous behavior?
Well, I feel like it's interesting. I feel like she has forced your hand to become pro Heather Dubrow. At the beginning of the season, you were not a fan.
But I always had Tamra's number.
I know. But I feel like you're in full defense of Heather now, which I like that change of heart.
I would defend anyone from the onslaught that they have received from Tamra or this entire cast. I am an underdog supporter. The way Tamra has created a full one-sided feud and gotten everybody on board is a sight to behold. I mean, it's almost worth historians studying what Tamra did to make this happen.
I can't wait to watch. It's like Pennywise, her outfit, versus like a Tron. I don't know what.
I think it's God versus the devil, and I'm so excited for that showdown. I just think Tamra is. I don't know. I say it so often that I don't even want to say it. I like Heather's response to this. Stimuli? What these cast members are doing to her is so unwarranted and horrific and bullying.
Yeah.
And I love Heather's response of just withdrawing and checking out
Yeah.
and just say, burn me at the goddamn stake. I don't care anymore.
I'm being hung on the cross like Jesus was.
Yeah.
Well, it is interesting that it's happening to someone who's rich enough that they could absolutely walk away from the show without any issue.
Yeah, I like that part too, because it's like, yeah, treat me like shit. Don't sit with me on the bus.
Yeah.
Make me shop alone, whatever. I'm going back to, I have $55 million with my loving relationship.
She's like, low key, you are fucking losers, but like, I wouldn't have said it.
Yeah, but I think it's horrible that Tamra has pretended like she's Heather's friend this entire time and that they have a good relationship, and then behind the scenes the entire time she's been trying to
That'll be good
orchestrate
reunion fodder.
her downfall. Okay, I'm sorry to we're 3 hours 15
Not
minutes.
3:15.
That's okay. We're done. We're getting out of here. We love you so much. Amy, has anybody loved
It's 3:15 p.m. and the episode is 3 hours and 15 minutes.
I just got chills. How did that happen?
Okay, we have
to end it now. We have to end at 3 hours and 15.
9, 8.
I wanted to say
7.
one thing. Amy, does anybody love our little turtle cuties more than we love them?
There's no way in hell.
No, we love you so much. So join us next week. Goodbye.
This one